you guys
Very smart and very modern.
They are Jon and Jim.
That's all you need to know about me.
Previously on Jon and Jim.
Padres just sent out a tweet for the first time in like a month.
Oh, it must be nice.
And the tweet is thanking Dylan Cease for his time in the Padres uniform, forever in the history books. It was a week and a half ago.
The Padres digital team needed some time to make this graphic.
So they have sent out a thank you. He was even introduced to the Toronto media days ago.
The Mets have already released thank yous to Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz.
And that just happened.
Padres,
where were you?
Now live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California was going on. Hour one. Jon and Jim, we're going to have to fit it all in, Jim, in 4 hours. If we can, and if not, maybe they would give us an extra hour or two or three tonight.
Why don't we just ask for it just in case?
I kind of like that. If we just went into each day saying, let's just go under the premise we're doing 6 hours. Right. So then we know we've got our bases covered. So if we actually only go 4 or 5 hours, at least we have 6 hours of airtime.
Right. And you know what? I think asking for that additional hour every day, they wouldn't tell us no, right?
They're not telling us no. I think if we wanted to do 6 to 6, we could do 6 to 6. And I'm talking about 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
I'm talking 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Well, you do 6A to 6P. I'll do 6P to 6A. And we are live and local 24 hours a day like WFAN in New York.
Honestly, sounds like a really good idea.
That sounds like an awful, terrible, no good, very bad idea. Remember when I spent a full year of Jon and Jim referencing that book?
When was that?
I don't even know.
Last year.
It was like last offseason when I'm like, this is terrible.
The not so very good offseason continues for the Padres?
It was after they blew a 2-1 lead to the Dodgers.
Oh.
And it's continued now for the last year. All right, we're gonna hear from MLB Network Radio, the leadoff spot, what Steve Phillips, the former baseball GM, had to say about. Now, I need to preface this before we hear from Steve Phillips about what the Padres are going to do this offseason and about Francisco Lindor, who we spent yesterday talking about, Jim. The reason I say that is this was like a prediction segment. Like, because the question was, the Padres will trade for blank this offseason. It wasn't like, right, let me stop the show. I have breaking news. My sources are saying this.
Yeah, that's not right. Be those people. Let's not be those guys that go, you know what? This is what I've heard. And then try to piece together a Francisco Lindor for Xander Bogaerts trade.
Yeah, that's not this. And that's not what we're saying. But we can listen to the thought process of Steve Phillips, who, by the way, was the Mets general manager previously. He's now on MLB Network Radio on the leadoff spot. Eduardo Perez is on that show as well. Let's take a listen to this and then react.
So the Padres, I'm going to take your top brotherware, and the Padres are going to trade for Lindor. Like, those Lindor candies that you can get. Yeah, Francisco Lindor is going to be a Padre.
No, Steve.
Right now, there are all kinds.
Steve, no. They need to unload, not get. No. That's not happening.
Well, no, it's going to be that they're going to have to give back Bogaerts in the deal. And so the Mets clubhouse issue has come to a head, and Soto's winning out. And the reports out there are that the Padres, who we heard were working on blockbuster deals, have made offers to the Mets on Francisco Lindor, because the Mets realize that Soto and Lindor do not get along, and they're trying to accommodate the issues that they had in their clubhouse.
I don't need to get along. I understand. Together for the next
wouldn't trade them either
to get along. I'm sorry. This is idiotic on every standpoint. Like, they don't get along, so we need to trade you guys. Dude, figure it out. You guys are men. You sign contracts. You sign lucrative contracts. Figure this crap out and go play the game. And then once the game is over, you can go one way, you can go the other way, and I'll see you tomorrow in the same venue, and then you kick butt together. I grew up in a Cincinnati Reds clubhouse that not everybody loved each other, but it sure the heck appeared that way once they continue to win. And then every team that wins, Steve, every team that wins, you hear it year in, year out in October. You hear it and oh, we love each other. You know, the reason we're so good is because we love each other. You never hear a team say, you know why we're so good? Because we don't like each other. We don't like each other, so we make sure that we play, we win. We haven't heard a team that has lost yet say we love each other. We don't hear that. Come on. Play the game. Be a professional.
I'm telling you, I don't disagree. But I don't think that the game's the same today as it was then in many regards. And so I think that they're not getting along.
Okay, so they're going to trade Francisco Lindor because he doesn't get along with Juan Soto. Let's go down that path. Then aren't they going to trade all the Padres that don't get along with all the Padres because have there not been clubhouse issues here as well in recent history?
Oh, there's been clubhouse issues with every team. There's good teams just make it apparent, make it so those things don't get out into the public or they don't get out of that clubhouse. They stay inside that clubhouse. But if you think that everybody gets along, they don't. Even on winning teams, not everybody gets along.
A lot of players, a lot of personalities, a lot of dynamics, a lot of money.
I can guarantee there's a lot of players in there. It's not like a group of 5 guys. It's a group of 26 plus coaching staff plus taxis, whatever it is, right?
Like different walks of life, different parts of the world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's 100%. It's a dynamic. You're right.
Right. So I look at it, and I said this yesterday. And thank you to Eduardo Perez for saying it as well. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's borderline on the Mets side, completely idiotic. Not borderline. It 100% is idiotic from the Mets standpoint. If this trade actually went through, John, look.
What would the trade be?
Who the hell knows?
Well, Mason Miller and Xander Bogaerts for Francisco Lindor.
I think that this is a fabricated. Somebody heard something, and it, like we've talked about. Someone heard something, someone said something, and it mushroom cloud.
Yeah,
it just became a giant mushroom. It just. All of a sudden, you're like, wait, what?
Right.
Have you ever seen those things where they have like a line of people?
Whisper down the lane or line, kind of.
Yeah, whisper down the line and then see if the last person at the line gets...
Never.
And this is what I feel is this idiotic rumor out there that someone said something and then 10 people later was like, dude, the Padres, they're going to trade for Francisco Lindor. It's like... No.
Okay. To your point, though, like you said something yesterday I want to go back to, which is like, this isn't even really your need. It's your want, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Francisco Lindor is an upgrade over Xander Bogaerts. Make no mistake. This isn't your need right now. You know what your need is? Your rotation. You know what your need is? Well, certainly your bench. You know what your need is? Corner help at first. Like you have needs. And by the way, if you do have payroll issues, Eduardo Perez just brought this up, this isn't addressing that. I'm not kicking Lindor out either. Don't make no mistake. If I'm snapping my fingers, I'm taking the player. But that's like saying that, a lot of our listeners want to date Sidney Sweeney. I mean, it takes 2 to tango. I'll take Lindor. I'll take Soto. I'll take them all, right? But it doesn't work that way, and it's not fantasy sports. And when you think about David Stearns, who's the general manager of the New York Mets, he didn't get to the position by being a moron. So listen, there are deals that sometimes need to be made. AJ Preller's had to make some deals over the years. But this one, to me, is one that we're talking about because we were told something big is coming and nothing has come. So now we need to theorize on what is potentially coming, even if it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I can't even fathom from the Mets side if they were to make that deal and they got Bogaerts in return and whatever else along with Bogaerts for Francisco Lindor. How would you spin that if you're the Mets? How?
He was a clubhouse cancer.
You're not. I mean, would they really come out and say that Francisco Lindor?
No, but the Post would. You know what I mean? Like it could of course. Would be said. Yeah.
Or they might blame Soto or something along those lines, right?
Right.
But I mean, it must be really slow out there for someone to come up with this rumor. Because, I mean, the fact that it's like they have rotation issues and they need to still figure out, some money with like potentially Jay Cronenworth. Like, I would love to see AJ Preller this come across his desk and what, like, if I gave him truth serum, what he would say. I'm sure they probably have talked to the Mets. I'm sure they probably talked to everybody.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sure they've talked to the Pirates about Paul Skeens, because that's who AJ Preller is. He talks to everybody, and everybody gets annoyed with him because all he does is talk about every single untouchable player out there. Just like I'm sure teams are calling about Fernando Tatis Jr., right?
Yeah, I mean, does it even solve your issue? Like,
no.
Again, like if you snapped your fingers and Francisco Lindor was on the San Diego Padres, you know what people are going to tell me? They're back, or this was the missing piece. And I'd be like, no, it's not. We've gone down this path before. I was told before Xander Bogaerts was the missing piece, and Manny Machado was the difference, and Fernando Tatis Jr. and it's Blake Snell and it's Joe Musgrove and it's Yu Darvish. You need so much to compete at the level that we're talking about, which is getting to the postseason and winning in the postseason. I'm taking Lindor, make no mistake, but like I need to be honest with our listeners, and I'm not going to go sell them on something that I don't believe is feasible, which is this specific trade. Yeah, imagine being at Citi Field when they introduced Xander Bogaerts.
Oh,
seriously, imagine being at Citi Field when they introduce Xander Bogaerts for Francisco Lindor.
Pitchforks, and that stadium is going to be...
That's not your need, New York. You see, like you have needs too. We haven't even talked about the Mets needs. We're talking about the Padres needs.
We don't care what the Mets needs.
But neither of these, this trade doesn't solve the issues for the clubs. No. Is basically the point. Now, it's an upgrade and a massive one for San Diego. There is a world where you could attach pieces to Xander Bogaerts, of course, in a trade. I find it very hypothetical. For whatever reason, nobody considers no trade clauses, by the way. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, I put this in my contract just because, but you know what? If I could go to be a New York Met, all good. Or if I could go and be a San Diego Padre, all good. So there's just so many holes that can be punched in this theoretical trade. Listen, I'm not saying the Padres don't make a big move this offseason. Maybe they do. I just don't think it's this.
I know for a fact this team would love to get out underneath the Xander Bogaerts contract. But to get out underneath the Xander Bogaerts contract, to then bring over another contract that costs more than Xander Bogaerts, albeit he is a far exceptional better player than Xander, so you could potentially live with it.
Right.
I just don't understand how that would work. I just don't.
Like, and we're the trade guys. We've spent off seasons theorizing on trades. I mean, I know, and we've probably led people down paths like, hey, we think something like this makes sense. We didn't discount the possibility of Juan Soto being traded. We may have disagreed with the idea of it, right? But we didn't say like, trust us, he is not being traded. Trust us. No, we didn't say that.
Yeah.
And by the way, trust me, I'd prefer, to your point, to trade Xander Bogaerts, but I'm not the one that signed him to a $280 million unmovable anvil.
Right. And everybody's an insider until they're not, right? Everybody knows something until they don't. And they can say they know something, but they probably don't know jack squat. It's now mushroom clouded into the point where people are legitimately thinking that the Padres are going to trade for Francisco Lindor.
I want to hear from, is there anyone listening right now that thinks this is a reality? That this is a reality, that Francisco Lindor is going to end up as a Padre this winter. 877-767-4760 or text us 70470. Start it with the word team. More on this conversation on the other side. Greg Camarillo, the former NFL wide receiver, joins us every Friday. He'll join us coming up at 4:30. We'll talk about this weekend, a huge one in the NFL. Stay with us, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. All right, people want to weigh in on Francisco Lindor. When's the introductory press conference, Jim? Did you say it was Monday or was it Sunday?
I think it's going to be next Wednesday. Don't worry, I'll be there to ruin it.
Imagine if someone tuned in right at this moment, like, wait, what? We're kidding. Relax.
You're kidding.
There's been no trade. Now, our longtime buddy Mark Nimitz wants to weigh in. We're going to start with Mark.
Give it to me, Mark.
Mark Nimitz wants to weigh in on Francisco Lindor. Mark, what's going on, man? Welcome back to John and Jim.
What's the guy?
How you doing, man?
Good. As much as I would love Francisco Lindor, it doesn't make any sense. I would rather, as much as I'd love to keep Mason Miller on the team, ship him off Minnesota and go get Byron Buxton and Joe Ryan. That Byron Buxton is signed through 2029. The guy makes like $14 million a year. That makes a heck of a lot more sense, in my opinion, than Lindor, who makes $30 million a year.
Mark, appreciate you, my friend. Now, Buxton traditionally has been in center. I guess you could put him in left. You could add a Joe Ryan, which is interesting.
Well, who would you? But like, then my question would be then, what would you have to trade to get those two players? Because it ain't going to be Bogarts.
Fair. I mean, yeah. I mean, he went down the path of Mason Miller right there, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mason Miller has been another name that's been talked about because, I mean, of course, right? Everybody's being talked about here.
Well, what about the belief that, and I mean, I don't think the Padres feel this way, but like you've got an elite closer, but do you have a staff that's going to get you the ball to your elite closer?
No, at this point you don't.
That's always a concern.
Yeah.
But you just traded heaven and earth. You traded Leo DeVries.
You did. You traded pretty much not all your top prospects, but I mean, you go back and you look at all the prospects they traded last year. Now, again, we don't know if any of these prospects will turn into anything.
Right.
We don't even know if Leo DeVries will turn into anything.
Of course not.
But what do you have to trade with? Like what else in your system is like, well, he's really coveted.
Well,
I mean,
Mark texted us because we're buddies, all of us. And he said Miller Cronenworth. I think Cronenworth has value. I'm not going to discount Cronenworth. He throws in Campy. Maybe that's a joke. Maybe not. I do believe Luis Campusano could use a change of scenery just in general.
He's a backup catcher, bro.
No, but I'm not saying in a deal like this. I am saying in general, he could use a change of scenery. Mason Miller and Jay Cronenworth. Of course, Mason Miller has tons of value. He's controllable. He doesn't make a lot of money. And I think Jay Cronenworth has value as well. I don't know what the Twins' goals are or aspirations for 2026 and beyond. Why would Mason Miller make sense for the Twins?
A lot of this, I mean, I'm thinking about it, and it's just a lot of like, well, I don't know, that doesn't make much sense. Again, like something needs to happen because this is what happens when nothing happens, right? Mm-hmm. When nothing happens and we have to go off of rumors of blockbuster moves incoming and Preller's about to go big and all of these speculative rumors. When nothing happens, you get this. You get Francisco Lindor is going to be traded to the Mets or traded to the Padres. This player is going to be you get this when you have wild speculation out there from the media that's printing it.
Yeah.
That has caused an S-storm that I would be floored if the Padres and Mets did this trade. I'd be floored.
Let's go back to the phones. 877-767-4760 if you want to weigh in on the idea of Francisco Lindor or anyone out the door on the Padres. Let's go to Dave on line one. Dave, thanks for your patience. You're back with us here on John and Jim.
Thanks again, guys. I don't know where to start on this. I mean, it's just more silliness. At the end of the day, when let's look at this, you just traded away your number one guy in the shortstop that we let go.
Yep,
DeVries. And now you throw away the guy that you traded for the number one shortstop for another shortstop. That do you really need him?
Good point.
Is that going to get you to the World Series?
When you say it that way, yeah.
It did. Guys, look. Let me summarize it this way. Since 1969, this is the history of the Padres. They've not been able to sustain a farm system to begin with, and where they're bringing up enough talent to fill needed holes. There's been very precious little, and therein lies a major problem because now you're on a treadmill and they can't get off of it, in essence.
Dave, appreciate the call. I mean, he put it in pretty good terms. It's just like, you're trading a shortstop for a shortstop. Like that's your there's the big move that we did it. We solved it.
The upgrade is massive.
The upgrade is significant.
It's a Grand Canyon size upgrade. We can all agree on that.
I mean, how much closer does it get you to where you're trying to go?
But as Dave said, and it's funny to think about. Last year at the trade deadline, you traded your number one prospect who was a shortstop for a closer.
Yep.
And then this offseason, you're going to trade your current shortstop for another shortstop?
You had Leo DeVries for $5. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Lindor now, you can't argue his value. Of course, he's got much more value than Leo DeVries for a team that wants to win right this second.
Yeah.
But
again, when you have to think about it, like logically, guys, if there was a situation where Francisco Lindor, who is making more than Xander, right, was not playing up to the standard of that contract and was not a good player and, really struggling in New York, I could then 100% buy it because I don't remember the last time it happened in baseball, a bad contract for a bad contract, but it would make more sense if that were the case. Because then I can be like, okay, bad contract for bad contract. Both teams want to get these players, out, and both these players, I'm sure, want a new change of scenery. But that's not the case here. You would be trading a all-star top 10-ish MVP player at their position for I think one of the worst shortstops for the money in baseball.
Yeah, for the money, no question. All right, Jeff, stay where you are on the line. We'll get you on the other side. If you want to weigh in on this, 877-767-4760. Again, 877-767-4760. More of your calls on the other side. Again, Greg Camarillo will join us coming up at 4:30. We'll talk about this weekend in the NFL. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
This update's brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with college football. Former Michigan head coach Sharon Moore officially was charged with stalking and home invasion. He'll be released from jail on a $25,000 bond. Another college football news. This will be the final year of the LA Bowl as it joins the Bahamas Bowl as the latest bowls to be canceled this bowl season. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings Box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites, $7 gets you the fancy stuff, and $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes, taxes extra.
All right, let's go back to the phones. If you have an opinion on what the Padres should do this offseason, and I think a lot of people do, we'd love to hear from you. 877-767-4760. Do you think it will involve Francisco Lindor?
Trade Jake Cronenworth for Aaron Judge.
Ooh. Well, what about Musgrove for Skeens?
I like that.
Former Pirate, right?
Yeah. That'd be nice.
That. And shoot, Skeens pitched the Mountain West at Air Force. Perfect. Win-win.
Awesome.
877-767-4760. Let's go to Jeff, our buddy Jeff, with us here on Jon and Jim. Jeff, how are you, man?
Hey, what's going on? Is there a little ticker right now above the lower third that has my name and title?
Yes.
It
Executive designer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
It will
Cool.
soon. Don't worry. Copyrighted.
Nice. The Lindor Xander thing, I'm sorry, that's dumb. However, I do think, given like every bad thing that's happened this offseason, think about kind of where we are right now. There's not a whole lot of good to talk about.
Yeah. Right.
What better way to kind of wash that away than for AJ to do something nuts? I don't think it's going to be Lindor or Xander, but if you're a potential buyer and from the Seidler point of view, selling, if AJ just pulls out something crazy like it's Acuna from the Braves or something, then all eyes are on San Diego again. So maybe think of it from that point of view rather than sort of a baseball roster perspective.
It's interesting, Jeff. Good call.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
I mean, here's my thing, though, and he brings a good point. I mean, everyone always wants something splashy, especially in San Diego with the Padres and Preller. But is it false hope right now? Like they have been splashy, they have been sexy, they've won deadlines and off seasons. But is that is our magic 8-ball telling us that right now, if we're using our head, that's an extremely likely outcome?
I don't think it's I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't see that coming to fruition. I don't particularly see any big moves happening. I do think it's going to be status quo. I think this is all smoke. Could be wrong. Kind of hope I'm wrong. I'm not sitting here impatient, like, why aren't you doing something? I'm sitting here saying, like, I just don't think that they're going to do something of this magnitude. And I think that, this is what happens when nothing happens and you have a general manager and the history of the general manager kind of being cuckoo and crazy and making deals at a 7-Eleven on his parents' phone or whatever. You know what I mean? Like this is what happens when you have a general manager on his final year of his contract, yet to have a contract extension in place, new manager, and rumors flying around because this is who AJ Preller is. He has created a reputation where every offseason and every trade deadline, we think this guy is going to go absolutely nuts.
To
his credit, and not to his credit, but to the credit of the rumors and the speculation, he has gone absolutely nuts before multiple times. So because of that, that's why these types of things, as ridiculous as they sound, become a talking point because AJ Preller has shown and has a reputation of being a psychopath.
Yeah, but if you want him to go cuckoo or crazy, wouldn't you want him, to your point, to be under contract? You want to win? You want an organizational win? Sign him.
Right.
Extend his contract. You don't need to go trade for Ronald Acuna. You want an organizational win? Extend AJ Preller through 2028. It's the easiest thing in the world. Right. And if the holdup is on the Padres side, shame on them. If it's on Preller's side, I kind of get it because he's reading the tea leaves. The team's for sale. the budget's not going up. The players are under contract. You're handcuffed. Some of that is on him. But like, if it's on Preller's side, I understand it. If it's on the Padres side, it's inexcusable, in my opinion.
I do think it's on Preller's side. I do. I think from everything that's being reported, and again, it feels like it's all just hearsay at this point.
Yeah.
It does seem as this is in Preller's court. The ball's in Preller's court. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that? Like, I mean, it feels that way.
Feels that way. But Kevin was with us this week, though, Jim, and I asked that specific question, and he didn't agree.
Okay.
Not that but just FYI, I don't think Kevin agrees with what we're saying regarding that.
Yeah, and look, they might view this as, like Kevin says, like, why? There's other pressing needs, right? There's other pressing needs than giving AJ Preller a contract extension. And if there's some handshake agreement between both sides, like, oh yeah, we'll get it done. Just let me know. I got to work on other stuff, but like, we'll get it done. Okay. They don't operate like other, organizations operate. And a lot of times a handshake deal, you run the risk of things changing, right? Over the course of time, you're like, hey, I thought we had a handshake deal. It's like, well, it was just a handshake deal. I changed my mind. And you can absolutely do that if you don't have a contract signed. So yeah, I think maybe I do think this is in Preller's court. I do think that there have been, contract negotiations, and there have been contracts on tables waiting to be signed. It's just maybe like, hey, I got to build a roster first, or I got to do other stuff first. Like, it's weird. I know it's very weird, but who the hell knows with Preller and the Padres? Everything's always weird with them.
It's going to go from weird to concerning. This is what's going to happen, because there's going to be a date where his future is going to be in question, is what's going to happen. And also, if he's in the midst of the final year of a deal, is he able to make these big swings? These are constant conversations we've had over the years. And by and large, he's been able to make the big swings, even when he's had more security or less security with his job.
Right.
So, like, to our everyone's point, say, hold on, we're exploring a sale as a franchise. Our GM is under contract for 10 months. Give him the keys, whatever. I mean, you're talking about crazy impacts on the financials of the San Diego Padres if you are to, trade away or trade for Francisco Lindor or trade away Xander Bogaerts or any combination. You're talking about tens of millions of dollars one way and tens of millions of dollars another. I don't know if it's a straight wash. We'd have to look at the actual deals to see if it is. So again, the more I talk about it with you and the more it's speculated on, the more I don't foresee it. And we're not even talking about the Mets side of this. I'm seeing people in the chat, maybe they're even Mets fans, like, Bogaerts would be a good addition to the Mets clubhouse. That's why you would make the trade of Francisco Lindor?
This is the dumbest thing ever.
That's insane.
Like, oh, he's a good clubhouse guy. Yeah, but what
about on the field?
The guy can be the worst clubhouse guy ever. Is he going to have a 950 OPS and hit 45 bombs for me? That's all I care about. That's all fans should care about. Like, oh man, he's a really good guy in that clubhouse. They don't care about you. You shouldn't care about them other than what they do on the field.
I mean, and by the way, here is, again, we're a year removed from Manny Machado saying, what is this, high school baseball? Right. When it comes to that type of what matters to a team. So I don't think the Padres are in the business of like improving their clubhouse. I think the Padres are in the business of improving their team.
Right.
And that's why I love Lindor. And if I'm the Mets, who've already had this horrific offseason by their fan standards, if you trade away Francisco Lindor and add Xander Bogaerts,
dude,
you have like lost the room. The room's already lost.
Yep.
But you've like lost everything in that. Now, again, they could do all kinds of moves. They have more resources than the San Diego Padres. But with resources, why am I trading for Xander Bogaerts? Doesn't make any sense.
No, why would anybody want Xander?
Has anyone watched Xander Bogaerts the last 3 years? And there's there's apologists, man, all over the city.
Oh, I know. There's apologists everywhere in this town.
I'll tell you what, if you're unbiased or objective on it, there is no world where Xander Bogaerts should be traded for.
That's how I felt when I saw Dylan Cease sign a 7-year, $210 million contract. Like, did the Blue Jays actually watch Dylan Cease pitch? Not saying he's an awful pitcher, but he's not a 7-year, $210 million pitcher. Sorry. Like, are we taking crazy pills? Are we watching the same thing here?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, Fernando had a great season. What are you talking about? Like, oh, Xander was. What are you talking about? No, stop. They need to be better. Like, get your head out of your you-know-wheres and realize that this should not be something that's acceptable for the money that they're being paid. Like yes, they need to be better. It's okay to say that. It's okay to want more from your highest paid players, guys. It's okay.
This idea from like David in the chat, he's like, how hard is it to understand it won't be a 1-for-1 swap? Even more of a reason that it doesn't make sense. So you're going to bring in Lindor, your big missing piece, and you're going to trade away other pieces that then are holes you need to fill?
Right. And add payroll potentially because I just don't see it on either side, truthfully. I wish I did. Maybe I've got blinders on. Someone show us what we're missing. 877-767-4760. 877-767-4760. Much more on this on the other side here until 6 p.m. Greg Camarillo on this weekend in the NFL at 4:30. Make it make sense. 877-767-4760 is Jon and Jim.
All right, Jon and Jim, make it make sense for us. Francisco Lindor to the Padres. Xander Bogaerts to the Mets. What are we missing? But Jon, it's not a 1-for-1 trade. But Jim, you don't get it. All right. 877-767-4760. Mike on line 1 wants to weigh in. Mike, you're on with Jon and Jim.
Hey.
What's up, man?
Hello, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I just want to ask one question and a comment. What makes you guys think that Lindor wants to come to the Padres?
Now, does Lindor have a no trade clause, Jon?
He does.
Okay, so that will complicate things immensely then. So my only guess would be this other rumor that Lindor and Soto don't get along.
So he'd be willing.
Okay, well, there's a possibility there. Okay, here's the last thing that I want to say. You guys aren't going to have 3 of your basic starting pitchers, right? I mean, you got Darvish out next year. You've lost Cease, and King looks like he's going to sign somewhere else. That's all true, right?
Well, we'll see what happens with Michael King, but probably yes.
Are you a Padres fan, Mike?
Here's the thing.
Or a Mets fan?
Well, here's the thing that I want to say.
Yeah.
And until we get starting pitcher, we're just barking at shadows.
Yeah.
That's a great point. So exactly, you're going to spend that's a great point by Mike. There's the summary. You're going to spend your offseason trading for Francisco Lindor when your rotation is in shambles.
And by doing this, you're barking at shadows. You're barking at things that don't exist.
That's your big offseason. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm excited to buy the jersey too. I want to see him here on opening. You know what I mean? Like if you could just do it, of course. Everyone wants Francisco Lindor. All of the teams would want him. He's great.
It'd be putting a Band-Aid on a leak while the ship is still sinking.
Yeah, I mean, Lindor's not going to be pitching on opening day, I don't think, if they make the trade.
No.
You know, so I don't. And of course, he's an upgrade. That's not the conversation. Nobody's saying, "Hey, is Francisco Lindor an upgrade on Xander Bogaerts?" Yeah, he is. Think? That's the problem for the Mets. You know,
right? He's really good.
Like they've crunched the numbers too. They've got Baseball Reference.
I'm just imagining what New York fans and New York media, how they would react if that trade
amazing
actually went through.
Well, I have a feeling there's people in the East that are like, "Oh, he's got 2 titles. Remember him with the Red Sox? He was awesome."
No, but no Mets fans say that, Jon. No Mets fans.
Well, I was going to say, but you've missed the last 3 years.
The Mets fans they know ball. All right, they know that Xander Bogaerts is awful, and trading away Francisco Lindor, who has been really the heartbeat of the Mets team for the last however many years, to lose Edwin Diaz and to lose Pete Alonso, to then trade away the quote unquote heartbeat of your team for a guy that sucks in Xander.
Because him and Soto don't get along.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
And we're certain he's going to get along with everyone here, right? Everything's going to be swimmingly beautiful.
Right. And then the narrative of Juan Soto's a clubhouse cancer will
just continues. Now, that is the narrative, certainly in New York. With the Mets.
Posts. I mean, it's hard to say that it's hard to get mad at Juan Soto when the guy is literally putting up Hall of Fame numbers.
You want to trade Xander Bogaerts for someone? Trade him for Juan Soto.
Yeah, bring him back here. I'm sure Manny would love that.
Yeah, exactly. So again, make it make sense. I mean, what are we missing here? If I'm AJ Preller, I said this yesterday, I'm worrying about the holes on my roster. I'm not worrying about the splashy move. I'm not worrying about
trying to go big.
Yeah, no. And that's what makes it interesting to me, that this idea that they're going to go big and the Juan Soto trade pales in comparison to what they're working up. Okay. Or why don't you just address your needs?
Right. Go out and be in the rumor mill for starting pitching. like be heavily rumored to go trade for some elite starting pitching instead of Francisco Lindor.
Where did the report come? Was it Jon Heyman that said the Padres are, again, I put nothing to it because I think they listen on everyone. It was Jon Heyman that said the Padres are listening on Mason Miller and Nick Pivetta.
Right. But the asking price is extremely steep. Of course it is. That's what AJ Preller does.
It should be steep.
And by the way, this is what happens when you have a leaky organization, or at least when, AJ Preller talks about everybody.
Yep.
Eventually, it's going to get out that you're talking about everybody. regardless of how serious this is. If you're the type of general manager, which AJ Preller is, who picks up the phone and talks about everybody, well, then this stuff's going to get out. And this is what happens.
I agree.
You get John Heyman saying the Padres are listening on Mason Miller.
He's probably
and
right.
Nick Pivetta. He probably is right.
Yeah.
But you know what? That doesn't even, I would give it a less than 2% chance of happening.
I mean, the Mason Miller thing would be perplexing. It hasn't been long since they made the acquisition. I get it. Things change.
Mm-hmm.
Needs change. I mean, the team is for sale now, for example.
Right, yeah.
The Pivetta thing, as crazy as it sounds, wouldn't be as shocking to me because he's gone at the end of 2026. Now, who provides more value? Pivetta. He's a starter.
I would probably wait out until the trade deadline for that one.
Me too.
Because, look, if you guys stink, but Pivetta still if he's still good and he puts up another year like he did last year or another first half,
mm-hmm.
you could get a pretty sizable return
Absolutely.
for Pivetta at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So I would wait off on that. That makes no sense to trade him now. Why would you do that? What?
I mean, the only advantage to now as opposed to later is just maximizing your return because 1 year of Pivetta theoretically is more than the rental of Pivetta of 2 months.
But doesn't it? None of these things make sense. The only thing that makes sense is the Padres are shopping, or are shopping Jake Cronenworth heavily.
Go trade Jake Cronenworth for pitching. This isn't hard.
Well, it might be hard
but apparently he has value. We've been told over and over again. I'm not saying just Jake Cronenworth, but go include Jake Cronenworth in a package of players that returns you not an ace in return, but some type of mid-tier to frontline starting pitcher.
But at the same time, we might say he has value, and other people might say he has value.
But does he?
But does he? We don't know that until we find out what his true value is. Right?
Fair.
Because teams could view him as kind of how I view him, which is he's just kind of average, but he's getting paid $11 million a year. And do I want to give a guy who just averaged $11 million a year who can't hit lefties?
Well, when you put it like that, I wouldn't sell it like that if I was Preller.
Obviously not, but I'm just saying that's how I kind of view Jake. He's a nice player, but he's nothing to go write home about.
And then I see in the chat, Vaughn's don't trade Jake Cronenworth. Guys, why not?
What's that?
Then you can't do anything. If you're not willing to trade Jake Cronenworth, then you're not going to have any offseason.
Yeah.
Because they're not just going to take on salary. They're going to the way to really upgrade the roster is via trade. Okay, let's be clear. But I don't know what kind of trade exists. This isn't the offseason of 22. At some point, you've gone to the well so much that you can't keep going to the well.
Right.
They've traded everything. And all their other contracts are so bad and so long that you can't trade them.
And the last time that they traded kind of everything, they had to wait a little bit before they could, recoup that talent pool in the minors, and then they traded it all away the following year.
I know. You need to usually wait a year or 18 months. It's only been 6 months. They probably need another 6 months before they can do something like that. All right, more on this on the other side. Again, Greg Camarillo will join us. We'll talk about the NFL coming up at 4:30. Is a big trade involving the Padres in the works? Make it make sense. 877-767-4760. Hour 2, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 next.
All right, this update's brought to you by Taco Bell. College football news of the day. Former Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore was officially charged with stalking and home invasion. He'll be released from jail on a $25,000 bond. And other college football news. This will be the final year for the LA Bowl as it joins the Bahamas Bowl as the latest bowls to be canceled. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites, $7 gets you the fancy stuff, and $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes, taxes extra.
It's Jon and Jim.
Let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds.
Your favorite pair.
Interesting job you guys have. Very smart and very modern.
They are Jon and Jim.
What do you need to know about me?
Previously on Jon and Jim.
Padres just sent out a tweet for the first time in like a month.
Oh, it must be nice.
And the tweet is thanking Dylan Cease for his time in the Padres uniform forever in the history books. It was a week and a half ago.
The Padres digital team needed some time to make this graphic.
So they have sent out a thank you. He was even introduced to the Toronto media days ago.
The Mets have already released thank yous to Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz.
And that just happened.
Padres.
Where were you?
Now live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. Here until 6 p.m., we've got Greg Camarillo on the show, the NFL wide receiver, former NFL wide receiver. He will join us coming up at 4:30. We're reacting to the speculation and chatter and rumor mill involving the San Diego Padres and their offseason. I think the speculation started with Kevin Acey's reporting that what the Padres are working on could make the Juan Soto deal look small. And from there, everyone's just run with it. Oh, Lindor. I've heard Lindor. I've heard Bogarts, So that's what we're reacting to. And we'll continue to take your calls if you have an interest in talking about it. What should the Padres be thinking about this offseason? What should they be working on? 877-767-4760. That's 877-767-4760.
They should be trying to get Aaron Judge or Bryce Harper or another player that just wouldn't make any sense.
Go take on more like 14-year deals and go acquire players that you don't have the capital to acquire.
Yes.
Those would be the moves that I would love to see. Listen, if they wanted Aaron Judge, they could have signed him at the winter meetings. And they did want him. They offered Aaron Judge more than Aaron Judge is making. But I feel like the ship has sailed on the Peter Seidler regime. Like the carefree spending days seem over since they've signed Ty Adcock and Dyson Acosta. Like the carefree days, man, those were good days. But it doesn't seem like those days still exist.
It's like they've gone from eating lobster and now we're like on a ramen noodle diet.
Honestly. It's like I've been listening to a lot of I don't know if you I've been listening to podcasts on like money. Because
really?
Yeah, because I'm in like my midlife, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You got to have money for Jones and you got to have money for retirement and you got to have money to live. And so one of the things at the end of the day, you could keep spending and then ultimately you're going to have to pay for it all. This has become an issue for the Padres the last 3 off seasons. Look at their moves.
Mm-hmm. Every
off season is the same thing. Oh, we got Nick Pivetta for $1 million. We signed a player to a 4-year deal, but it's actually a series of 4 1-year options. Right. You know what I mean? They have to get creative because they look at their credit card bill at the end of every month. Like we don't have the money that we had 3 years ago.
Like if you guys remember Michael King, they had to go to arbitration with him or at least get to the point of going to arbitration because they couldn't figure out something and they had to fall on like a weird 1 year, 1 million, but next year, I don't know, just some weird thing.
That's right.
Remember that?
Yes. What other? There's been some relievers that have been like that, right? The Suarez deal was
Suarez had 7 opt-outs. I had no idea what the
yeah.
There
will be one. I promise you this. There will be a move this offseason that involves the most confusing contract in baseball history and the Padres. It'll be like they'll sign a pitcher to a 7-year deal that has an opt-out after year 1. Something like that is coming this all. That's basically the Pivetta deal. 4 years, 54. No, it's not. It's a 2-year deal. And he's opting out. As long as he's healthy, Nick Pivetta is going to opt out at the end of the year. So anyway, there's that. And there's a lot there. And I'm not expecting anything imminently. I'm not expecting anything in general, truthfully. Certainly not until January. In terms of the next like sizable something involving the Padres. If I'm John Seidler, go sign AJ Preller. Worry about that right now.
Yeah, I think the next moves are going to come mid-January to
mid-February.
February leading into, spring training, pitchers and catchers.
Yeah, and WBC, which is going to,
right.
I don't even know when that's played, but certainly.
And it's going to be random. It's going to be some random moves. It's like, what?
Yeah. Like the WBC, I'm assuming is played in February. I don't know if that's accurate or is it March?
No, I think it's in March.
Okay. I'm just curious about the schedule for that. That makes sense. March makes sense.
Yeah.
But that means, it starts like March 6th. So, it's going to be a weird offseason and a weird start to the season. You mentioned in your updates, obviously, the updates to Sharon Moore.
Yeah.
Man, what a week.
What a surreal scene today.
Like, he was talking about the Citrus Bowl Monday.
And then he's in a courtroom, handcuffed.
He wasn't even in that courtroom because he was in that padded cell. He was literally in a padded cell.
He was in a padded cell wearing a white jumpsuit in handcuffs, like for the world to see because this thing got broadcasted live. Yep. Like anybody could have gone and watched it. And the judge is reading off basically like what he's being charged with. Like, what is happening?
It was now you've mentioned it, right? He has been released. Is that right? He was granted release on $25,000 bond with a series of conditions.
I don't know if he's been fully released. My guess is, I don't know, $25,000. You could probably, I don't know, but
he certainly has the money. He's been the head coach at the University of Michigan, but the whole thing, I'm with you on the, like, how surreal that is that he was employed. Now you're just over 48 hours. He was employed just over 48 hours ago as the head coach of Michigan.
Yeah.
Just over.
And now he's in a padded cell.
Yeah. He was actually in a. Yeah. And again, like I said this yesterday, like there's definitely a mental health element of this where it's like there's so much. There's all this piling on. Of course. How could there not be? It's like, how could you put yourself in this situation? But like the mental health element of this, like what's going to happen when he's let out is like,
dude, I don't know. I have no idea. There's probably a lot more to the story than
we don't know.
We know.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of get the gist of it.
Yeah.
Like we understand what the gist of it is. And still, even just knowing that little of it,
it's a lot.
It's still crazy to think about. Like, this guy, was hooking up with a staff member of the team while he has a wife and 3 kids and potentially like paying her money. And then like, it's,
wait, what's that part of it? What's he was paying her money?
Well, again, there was it's just rumors, but like there's so much out there. And it's wild, man.
Yeah, it is a. Now, here's my question. Because sometimes, like, do you think this impacts Michigan's ability to go hire its next head coach in any way?
Do you think Lane Kiffin? What's a better job, Michigan or LSU?
I think LSU is a premier job. I think Michigan's a premier job. Why, if you're Lane Kiffin, why would you? Here, I think it's way more realistic. Kellen DeBoer, who's been hot and cold with Alabama, goes to Michigan, and then Lane Kiffin ends up at Alabama.
Could you imagine?
That's the wild. I don't think Lane Kiffin ends up at Michigan.
No, but also like, how different would the coaching carousel have been?
Right. If Michigan
this
was
happened,
open?
While Lane Kiffin's doing his thing and before the Kalen DeBoer, how would this have changed things just 3 weeks ago?
Dude, like every job has been open this offseason. It's like 20 jobs in Power 4 football. There's only like 60 or 70 teams. Like even today, Utah just announced Kyle Whittingham is stepping down. He's not even retiring. It's being reported. He's stepping down.
What?
But I'm saying it just goes and goes. And I don't know if it's finished because then the NFL will have openings coming up in January. Michigan's a great job, is what I would say. Like, just from a job perspective, I think Michigan is one of the best jobs in the sport. But do you have any second? Are you measured if you're a coaching candidate out there? Like, do I want to step into that right now? Because that's a lot to step into, I wonder. Or is it just a great job and they're going to pay you a lot of money and you've got a lot of resources and you can win a national championship? I don't know.
I think Michigan, this scandal, right? I think it's going to just leave with Sharon Moore. Because, as you said, Michigan.
It's still Michigan.
It's still Michigan. They're still going to get a ton of money in NIL, right? They're paying their quarterback $20 million.
Insane.
Like, Sharon Moore didn't really take Michigan, obviously, to the college football playoff or take Michigan to, the heights that Jim Harbaugh did. But it just shows you that Michigan could have put anybody in place and they can still go out and get, top recruiting classes and, transfer portal, top guys in the transfer portal and, beat Ohio State still. Like, he was 2-0 going into the big game this year.
Yeah, they did. And to your point, they did sign Bryce Underwood because they have money.
Yeah,
they have resources.
It's not because he's not going there because of Sharon Moore. He's going there because he's getting paid the most money.
That's a good point. He may stay post Sharon Moore because
100%.
the money still exists and they'll probably hire him. I mean, they may end up with a better head coach, obviously. I don't know how good or bad, to your point, Sharon Moore was as a coach. Obviously, today's not really about that. But I'll tell you what, this story will get back to football quick for Michigan because that's all people are going to care about.
Right.
It's going to be who's next. They're not going to
once they hire the new head coach, Sharon Moore who?
Yeah, that's just how it works. That's how sports basically work,
Especially in college football. It's like the cycle goes
for better
quick.
or worse, it's how it works.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the phones because I think Jose wants to weigh in on the Padres offseason that we've been talking about. 877-767-4760. Jose, thanks for calling in. You're on with Jon and Jim.
Yeah, of course. About the situation about Pivetta and Miller.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense in an extent, especially Pivetta. I think his value is at an all-time high right now. He still has a year left, and I think he's way more valuable than maybe in a trade deadline. I think it makes sense because, with the return, you could probably get some cheap, solid back-end starters. And, with Pivetta, and you also dump Pivetta's salary, which is which spikes up to $20 million, and probably that could help with free agency. Probably get someone more expensive, like who knows, a Tetsuya Imai, or like maybe a Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen. These kind of front starters, and it gives us more depth in a way. With Mason Miller, obviously, he's the best closer in the league. He's controllable. His value is so high up. So I do see what Preller is doing here, and I do think it's honestly, I see why he is shopping mainly those two. It's very, it makes sense in my opinion, and especially with Pivetta's case, he's 1 year, he's definitely going to opt out next year for sure. So, depth-wise, I think that helps. And then with the whole Lindor stuff, I'm not buying it, but, it would be great. One can only dream. But yeah.
One can only dream.
My opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's a proverbial, and thank you, Jose. It's an absolute home run. You talk about what they've done amazingly well is they've added star power. They have marketable players. Francisco Lindor would be right in line with them. But that's great. That's great. But is that really going to happen? Is that realistic? We could talk about what Jose had to say about Nick Pivetta on the other side. Like, do you move Pivetta for return and payroll relief? And can that actually make you better in 2026? We are here.
I don't know how, but okay.
877-767-4760. We're here until 6 p.m. We've got some giveaways for you today as well that we'll tell you about on the other side. Stay with us, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Greg Camarillo on the show coming up at 4:30. We have Aztec tickets for Wednesday night against the Air Force. We'll give those away coming up in the 4 o'clock hour as well. So be listening for Aztec men's basketball tickets that were given away on in the 4 o'clock hour for next Wednesday night. So Jose went down the path of, I'm paraphrasing, I could entertain trading Nick Pivetta. He's only under contract for 1 year. He makes $22 million a year, and you're selling high. So that would be his argument for trading Nick Pivetta. Okay, you can get a return, great. You free up money, great. But the flip side is you don't have your ace, and now your entire rotation has changed from last year. And that to me is concerning.
The rotation, we talked about this. It's the biggest issue with the team, but it's the thing that hasn't let them down the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about, because what they need to address is, why do they keep every postseason falling flat on their face offensively? And that now it's like, we got to worry about that. And all we got to worry about is the starting pitching. And if you traded Nick Pivetta, that is just a massive hole that you have to figure out for next year. This whole thing this offseason, not a lot makes sense. Not a lot. I'm like usually I'm like, okay, yeah, you could do that. A lot of this doesn't make sense to me. And I'm very curious to see what way AJ Preller is going to go.
Yeah, me too.
To make it make sense, like you've been saying. Make it make sense, please. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I mean, listen, the guy will entertain options. I mean, he is creative. I'm sure there are a number of things he can do and probably ultimately will do this offseason. But I don't know how much better he's going to be able to make the team. And I do think at the end of the day, that's a fair thing. How much improvement can be had from last year to this year when you don't have Michael King and you don't have Dylan Cease right off the top, right? Other pieces too. So it's right. It feels like you're starting from a deficit. Can you get back to where you were? You have a new manager for whatever that's worth, right? I know Kevin wrote about Greg Stammen today.
Really propped him up today.
Yeah. Greg Stammen's got a lot of proving to do, and Mike Schilt, whether you like him or not, we weren't exactly in love with him as a manager. The proof, though, was in the wins, and he won 90-plus games twice here. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I go back to how we felt in 2024 after the Soto trade, how good that team was in 2024, the 93 wins, and you felt so good. That Atlanta wildcard series and the start of that Dodgers series, the Padres were among the best teams in the sport in that exact moment. Fell flat, completely flat on their faces, and it's like they haven't gotten up yet. Yes, they were fine last year. Yes, they made the postseason. Same result, though, worse result. And I don't know. I feel like they were really close in 2024, and I feel like they're just slipping a little further away over the last 18 months.
I think the farther we get away from 2024, the more it's going to hurt for Padres fans, because that still does feel like the best chance, like the best shot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It just all feels like that was the best shot, because now they don't have King, they don't have Cease, right? Their offense is not as good. They're all, older, and they had the Dodgers up 2-1. It's just like that felt like it was it, and they've gone backwards since. They've gone NLCS, DS, wild card. That's the direction of this franchise right now. CS, miss the postseason. DS, blow 2-1 lead, and then wild card round, losing 3 games.
Right.
It's you're going backwards as a team. Your core should not be going backwards, and you're not getting better. You're just kind of putting Band-Aids over spots here and hoping that your core, finally shows up in the biggest moments.
Remember that feeling when they signed Machado? We were going way back 7 years ago. That anything is possible feeling. Wow, the Padres are they're going to sit. They're going to sit at the big boy table. They're going to go for it here.
Well, they have been at the big boy table.
They have, but that feeling of optimism has changed for me. It's like They were on their way up, it felt like, and there's been ups and downs. Are they still on their way up with this ownership group that is exploring a sale with a core that, in 2019, Machado was a pup. And no longer is he, nor is Xander Bogaerts, nor is Yu Darvish, nor is Joe Musgrove. I mean, it feels like a lot has changed. And again, you're right. They've been at the big boy table. The expectations have risen significantly. And I just wonder if they can reach them.
I wonder that too. I wonder if that has passed them by. I wonder if now it's just kind of like they're going to be struggling to make the postseason. Like, I don't feel. Does anybody feel confident at this moment in time that this team's going to be a postseason team next year again?
No, they have a lot to answer. We've said that in the last couple of off seasons, but they'll likely be a playoff. I'd be very surprised if they weren't a playoff contender.
They'll be competitive unless they all get injured. But I can't say right now that they're 100% a playoff team next year. No chance.
No,
I got to see it. I can't say that definitively. There's no way. There's too many questions with this team. I mean, there's too many unknown variables. Like, you shouldn't be going into a season with your best players wondering if they're going to be this or that. Like, we know what you're going to get from Aaron Judge every year. We know what we're going to get from Ohtani, right? We know what we're going to get from Francisco Lindor. We know what we're going to get from Juan Soto. I have no idea what version of Fernando's going to show up next year. None.
Good point.
I don't know if Xander is going to actually stay healthy and be somewhat competent. I don't know. I don't know if Jackson Merrill is going to replicate closer to his rookie year or closer to last year. No idea. I have no clue if Nick Pivetta is going to replicate a year like last year, next year, or revert back to his, 4.5 or 4.15 ERA with the Red Sox. You have no idea what Joe's going to look like coming off Tommy John. None. I have no idea if Adrian Morejon is going to put together another lights out season in the bullpen like he did last year, because he's never done it before other than last season. No clue. Like when you say all those things out loud, there's so many variables there with so many key contributors of this team. There's no way I can put this team even close to the postseason right now. I can put them as competitive because they have talent, but I can't put them in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll both reserve judgment because it's like the book's not written.
100%. It's not even close to be done yet.
But and we have to see, and you're right, and injuries will be potentially a factor like they are for all teams. But yeah, I mean, I get the skepticism. I certainly do. I really do. All right, more on the other side. Greg Camarillo coming up at 4:30. In addition, we have Aztec tickets for Wednesday night against Air Force at Viejas Arena to give away. We're here until 6. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with college football news today. Former Michigan head coach Sharon Moore officially charged with stalking and home evasion. His bond from jail was $25,000. Another college football news today. This will be the final year of the LA Bowl as it joins the Bahamas Bowl as the latest bowls to be canceled. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites, $7 gets you the fancy stuff, and $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes. Taxes extra.
All right, Greg Camarillo is going to join us coming up at 4:30. We'll get into this weekend in the NFL with Greg Camarillo. And coming up at 4:30. Congrats to the Falcons on their big 29-28 win last night.
What was your favorite moment from that game last night?
When they scored their 29th point.
Oh, wow.
With their big 15-point fourth quarter.
How did they score their 29th point?
Well, it was actually an extra point. Field goal, extra point, whatever, same thing. At the buzzer. And that's what I loved about it.
Who's the quarterback for the Falcons?
It's Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts did have an amazing night last night.
Kirk Cousins, tough guy.
He
actually won a primetime game. Way to go, Kurt.
Yeah.
I saw a note from last night. So Kyle Pitts had, I think, 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. And if you added up all of his fantasy points since he's been in the league, last night, he accumulated 7% of his total fantasy points over his entire career just last night alone.
So you're saying he's been terrible?
Correct. But he's also been like that one player every year in fantasy football.
Kyle
that's
Pitts.
like, this is the year, Kyle Pitts. You get in like the 5th round and you're like, I got to steal. And then every year he sucks for you.
Exactly. Well, anyway, Thursday night football is over and Sunday football is coming. And then Monday football is coming after that. And Greg Camarillo will talk to us about it all. Coming up at 4:30, we have Aztec tickets to give away. Matt wants to weigh in on the Padres in this Lindor speculation. 877-767-4760. If you want to weigh in, Matt, you're on with Jon and Jim.
Hey guys. I just want to say I think this Lindor speculation is just wild. It's so idiotic. I can't even find the words to put it. But I do think there's a bigger picture here that I think fans need to look at. And I'd put it to you guys too is, I mean, how much longer do you think, that AJ can put together pieces for this core? Because as far as I'm concerned, I mean, how many more chances can you give this core? I mean, they've come up short. I mean, I think it was a good shot, to go all in the past 3 years. But, I mean, you can't keep going for 4 or 5 more years of this stuff. And I think this is where the Mason Miller trade really hurts is, it's a back of the bullpen guy. It's not a starting pitcher for Leo DeFreeze. And even if you weren't going to have Leo be part of the team, I think it should have been for starting pitching, but my last question to you guys is, I just really question about trusting this core to make another run, especially when you look at how the past 2 managers have ended up leaving town.
Matt, thank you. The initial point there from Matt was...
I get it. The core of the team, there comes a point where it's run its course.
Adding to it. And also he was saying, how many times can AJ keep going back to the well?
Right.
And trade capital and prospects. And
right. At some point, it's going to catch up to you. Right.
Yeah.
Realistically, this is just an opinion. The core that they currently have, I think, has 2 years left before you have to say, all right, this ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to figure something else out. Right. Because Joe's contract's up, I believe, in a year or two. Probably, I think it's 2 years.
Yep.
Vet is gone. Xander stinks. Manny's, can't play every day anymore. Obviously, we saw what last year did to him. He was dead tired by the end of the year. No clue what Fernando Tatis is going to be offensively from year to year. Jackson Merrill, I like him a lot. I think if he was healthy last year, it could have been better. But still, got to stay healthy, and he's got to perform. Jake, blah, I give it 2 more years before whoever's the general manager of this team has to change course and say, this ain't working.
How do you change course?
Well, then we get into the conversation about Fernando Tatis Jr. And then you have to move Toddy. But
yeah, that's a way to change course. I agree. That would be a sizable change.
But this is like years from now.
But what we're saying, but what you're saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, your code word for rebuild is change course. Because if you can't move Bogarts and Machado, and it's 2 years from now, and they're both 35 plus, and they're not as good as they are today, and you don't have Fernando Tatis Jr. as a 29-year-old, aren't you in a rebuild?
Yeah,
a weird one with an aging core you're paying a lot of money for.
Yeah, and that's I think a big reason. I mean, look, they're gonna probably pay. They're gonna have to pay for it on the back end here. But what AJ has been doing is he's been, mortgaging the future for the now.
Right.
And I do appreciate that. I think all Padres fans appreciate that because everybody wants things now. Like, I'm impatient. I can't wait for things. I want it now, And then 2 years down the line, it's like, oh, I should have waited, right? It's like buying a new, PlayStation if a new PS5 or PS6 came out or whatever, right? And buying it hot off the market and then realizing in 2 years, the price dropped by $500. I should have just waited.
Mm-hmm.
I could have kept my PS5 that was perfectly good, and I could have waited to buy the new one for less money. And so AJ, he's not that type of person. He wants to buy the thing now, like the newest thing on the market. Like, I'll pay top dollar for that. Mm. And you know what? Sometimes I'll even give you more money than what you're asking.
Right.
And then 2 years down the line, you're like, oh, I should have waited because now I could have got that for a better cost, or I could have just kept what I already had and it's perfectly good for the future.
The part I hate about that, and you're right, the part I hate about it is I was told years ago by all these reporters, it's not sustainable. What the Padres are doing, you can't do it. You can't do what the Padres are doing. Trust me, can't do it. I'm like, yeah, you can. Like, come on. And like, are they right? Is Ken Rosenthal right when he wrote 5 years ago? Can't do it. This is now baseball's played.
Well, no, I think here's the difference between that. And look, part of it could be true that they would have to trade away Fernando and whatever because of the cost, right? But I also do think if they were to do that in 2 years down the line, I think it would be because not that they can't afford it, but because it just ain't working.
It ain't. Well, that would be the primary motivation to move Tatis, or because the team's not working.
I mean, the primary motivation to move Tatis would be based around money, but it'd also be around like, hey, we have so many needs on this team,
right? That we can't just keep paying you. Like, you're not.
It goes back to the Juan Soto trade. Yeah. They traded away Juan Soto for like 4 key players,
right?
So the premise would be the same for Fernando. We're trading away Fernando to get like 3 or 4 key players to fill out all the holes we have because we have some awful contracts on our team that we can't get rid of.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. And the more I think about Tatis, the more I'm convinced he has to be here now, and I'm uncertain of his future, if that makes sense.
He's not going anywhere now. There's no chance he's now. He's not leaving now.
And by now, I mean like 2026.
Right.
And hopefully 2027, and honestly, hopefully beyond. But I go back to what I said, I think, earlier this week, that like, I don't see him finishing his contract here. I just don't, because there's going to be some problems at some point with the age of the roster and what they're paying some of these players. And I just don't know how you get out from underneath it. And one player you can get out from underneath, so to speak, is Fernando Tatis Jr. Because he ain't going to be 35 in 3 years.
And I would be interested, like in a hypothetical world, to see what Tatis is worth on the open market, like trade value. Because as someone in our chat puts it, and we've talked about it with Fernando, like, he's a good player. He's the best defensive right fielder in the game by far. But he's a mid-20 homer guy with around an 800 OPS every year since he got busted for steroids.
Yeah, but someone has a wandering eye, right?
I know.
You need one team
I know. But
I mean, there's teams that might want to trade for, like you said, with Jay Cronenworth. Like, I don't see it. Well, only one team needs to.
Yeah.
Your point's valid. I mean, you're not getting for Tatis today what you would have gotten for him 5 years ago. Because he's not that player. But
no, if you trade Fernando in 2021, you're getting the world. You trade Fernando now, you're not getting what you could have gotten.
Yeah, exactly. And no, I mean, it's true. Those that watch him every day, like me and you and our viewers and our listeners, there's a lot of good in there, and there's some things you don't like. I mean, he goes through periods of time where he can't hit the side of a barn. He can't. Where he had no power for 3 months this year. He hit like 3 home runs over 3 months. How is that possible? And it happened. But you're not going to get everything in the world because the guy can jump over the right field wall and bring balls back. Like that. That's not a reason why you're going to get the greatest return in baseball history, because he's a great fielder. So he is going to have to improve his offensive numbers in 2026 for 2 reasons. One, the Padres need it. And 2, one day, if you do move him, you can't have this continue in perpetuity that he's not the same player since 2021.
Do you think it is as easy as saying, because I mentioned I'm very skeptical about this team making the postseason next year, depending on the moves that they make, obviously, right? Opinions can 100% change on this. Right. But if I told you right now, next year Fernando hits 41 homers with a 910 OPS, would that change your opinion regardless of what happens if they make the postseason?
Would it change my opinion in terms of can they or can they not make the postseason? Do I think they'll make the postseason if he has that year? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll make the postseason if he has that year.
Okay.
Not because it makes their pitching better.
Right.
But because what you're telling me is something I've been asking for.
Right.
Like an unlockable piece. If you unlock it, doesn't that bode well?
You would think. I mean, it didn't particularly bode well in 2021 when the team collapsed, but they all got injured. So, I mean, there's a bunch of variables here.
Tons.
But if the status quo remained the status quo and you get that year from Toddy, I would think that gives you, I don't know what the percent chance of a boost it would give you at making the postseason, but I think it's a pretty sizable one.
It would feel that way. I agree.
Oh, cool. We just got our top 15, top 10 player back. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, I agree with that completely. All right, more on this coming up. Also in the 4:00 hour, San Diego State tickets against the Air Force. We're giving those away. The Wrap at 4. Greg Camarillo, former NFL wide receiver. Football night in San Diego. He'll get us ready for this weekend in the NFL. We're here until 6. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. With you until 6 p.m. Greg Camarillo is going to swing by at 4:30. Talk about this weekend in the NFL. And then also in the 4 o'clock hour, your chance to win some Aztec tickets for Wednesday night against the Air Force Academy. What do I have for you? I had something NBA related for you. And I don't know what it is. How do you like that? Is that
that's
good?
That's really good, John.
No,
I like that
have
a lot.
it. Who do you think is the number one player in the NBA under the age of 25?
Probably Shea or Wemby.
No, Shea's like 30, dude.
Oh, is he? Then it's Wemby.
Who do you think the number 2 player is?
Luka.
He's like 50, dude.
I don't know. Tell me.
I'm saying you're going with players that are older than 25, I think. ESPN's got a list of top 25 under 25, under the age of 25. And obviously number 1 is Wemby. Brent's got a quizzical look. Who do you think is number 2 under the age of 25?
I was just going to say Shea's 27.
Okay. Number 2 is Anthony Edwards. And here are the top 5. Just tell me if you agree or disagree. Wemby 1. Okay. Anthony Edwards, number 2. Cade Cunningham, who is 24, number 3. Jalen Williams of the Thunder, 4th. He's a 24-year-old. And then the center for the Rockets, Sengun, is 5th. He's 23. Are those the best 5 young players in the NBA? Is that the future of the NBA, Jim?
Who's number 5?
Sengun of the Rockets.
I would say, yeah. I would say that's a pretty damn good list as far as your top 5.
Do you like this as the future of the NBA? Not to say Shea is old or Luka is old, to your point, but like if we look up in a handful of years and is Jalen Williams and Cade Cunningham like other, versions of stars in the NBA? Are they going to carry the league for 5 years?
Let me answer that for you.
No, right?
No.
But Wemby will. Wemby could or should, right?
Wemby, yes. Anthony Edwards,
maybe.
He's more of a star player than Cade Cunningham or Jalen Williams.
Right. I guess that was my point. I guess when you think about the point is in generations of NBA, like NBA's always had like stars to stars, right? Like it's so star laden. Michael, Magic, Kobe, LeBron, Steph. Will that always be the case, or is that going to end? Are we going to be? Is the NBA at some point going to be like Jalen Williams, Sengun?
Well, just think about it this way. LeBron did not play at the start of the season because of his sciatica.
Yep.
Now, Steph was still playing, but even without LeBron, okay, the NBA had the highest ratings it's like had in like a decade.
Okay. Well, they have, but you're right, but they do have the Sheas and the Lucas.
Right. And he's not under 25, but he is
a star.
He's a star. So the 25 number, like, take that away. That's dumb. It doesn't matter. The players that are taking over, that are the faces of the league, don't have to be under 25. Like Shea, Luka, Wemby, like they're the faces of the league going forward. Doesn't matter if they're 25 or not. If they're under 30, it's fine. Even if they're over 30, it's fine. Those are the players that will be taking over the NBA, and they already have taken over the NBA. They're not like in waiting. Like now, they haven't won a championship. Shea's won one. We'll see what happens this year. They're the best team ever. But like Jokic. Guess what? Jokic isn't under 30 or under 25, and he's a face of the NBA, and he's probably the best player in the league. Mm-hmm. And if he wins another championship or two, he's going to win a couple more MVPs probably. He might be a top 15 player all time. So like the league is in good hands right now. No doubt about it.
Is it in? You're right on the ratings. Your point's valid, and you're right in general. I mean, you have big names like Luka and Shea, like first name guys like Kobe, Magic, right? I guess my question is the star power of this generation, the post LeBron, post Steph, the next, 5 years from now, is the star power in the NBA comparable to what it was in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s, in your opinion?
Depends on if Luka wins a championship with the Lakers, because if he does, then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Shea.
I think Luka and Shea, you're right, 100%. I'm just the thing is, I love Wemby too. I love Wemby. Like, you don't have to sell me at all on Wemby. But I do wonder, is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to be in the league for 15 years? Is he going to be a a transcendent face of the sport.
You say healthy.
Exactly. That's my question on Wemby. Because then after Wemby, you're like, well, there's Cooper Flagg and there's Jalen Williams. I don't know. It just seems like there's maybe going to be a drop off. The 19 to 27, like that's a lot of players, man. That 8 years of player, that doesn't. I'm not seeing Magic, Kobe, LeBron, Shaq.
That's fine.
And maybe it'll merge. I mean, I think Wemby is that guy.
Yeah, we don't have to see Kobe, LeBron, Shaq. Like those are once in a generation type players. You know, the wheel keeps spinning. And I look at Luka and I look at Shea and I look at Wemby and I look at Jokic. You know, Steph's still in the league for a handful of more years. We'll see what happens with LeBron after this season.
I know, but those guys are old.
KD's still in the league. I know they're old, but they're still playing.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel the same. Like, I don't feel the same way about KD as I felt 10 years ago. I don't feel the same way about, I hate to say it, Steph.
Okay.
Because the same thing. It's like, well, he's not appearing in NBA finals. He's not healthy. LeBron, to your point. He's not healthy.
Neither is Wemby and neither is Luka. Luka appeared in one. He got his doors blown off of him. Like, we forget Jason Tatum is still like out there in the world, even though he's not playing this season.
So who is the face of the NBA right now? If I ask you that question, who is the face of the NBA?
I think the NBA would tell you and want it to be Shea.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't particularly think it's Shea, but I think the league wants it to be Shea.
Yeah.
I think the face of the league
is Jokic.
Is still LeBron and Steph.
Yeah, probably true. But I think they probably would want that torch passed sooner.
And it would be very. And again, Luka's on the Lakers, so it's hard to say. But if you tell me right now, like if you put Thunder and I'll just say Spurs,
okay,
up against Lakers Warriors.
Yeah, Lakers Warriors can outright it.
Exactly.
But
why? Because of LeBron and Steph.
Yeah, and also because Oklahoma City is not like the market that you would.
No, it's the worst market possible. If the Thunder were the New York Knicks, oh my gosh.
That's what I'm saying. If the Thunder were the Warriors, if the Thunder were the Lakers, are you kidding? If the Lakers are 24-1 right now with that roster?
Well, the good thing is we're getting the Thunder and Spurs matchup in the NBA Cup semifinals.
You think that outrates Magic Knicks? I do.
Yeah, I'll watch that game.
Me too.
Wemby's returning, so I'll watch it.
And I think it's on Prime. I don't even think we get ratings, truthfully.
And now I do think the longer this goes on with Shea and the Thunder, and if they get to a point where they're 50-3.
Yep.
I think the narrative on that team will be similar to the Warriors of 2015. Everyone's like, dude, Steph, this is awesome. We love these guys. To the next year, they won 73 games. And now KD joining the Warriors obviously made them the villains, but the shine was off. It was like, we don't really want this super team now. We don't want a team that's winning 74 games or 73 games.
Yeah.
I think the same could happen with the Thunder with the standpoint of oh, by the way, we didn't even mention Giannis. Giannis is still out there.
But again, I'd say the same thing. It's I don't know. Is the NBA revolving around Giannis right now?
Oh, I could once he gets traded here, potentially.
Yeah, well, that's the key, I guess.
He ends up in New York, it will.
But
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but here's the other thing with the Thunder that you're saying, they could turn to the villains. Guess what else people are going to say when they're 50-3? Is this the best team in the history of the NBA?
Well, they're already saying that right now.
True. But you'll hear a lot more
premature.
about it.
It's extremely premature.
Yeah, exactly. But what's going to happen if they're 50-3 or 50-4?
Okay. If they're 50-4, well,
you might agree.
Have to, I won't, but people, again, that 73-win Warrior team didn't win a championship, so they can't go down.
True.
But still, I would argue that the following year when they got KD, when they won, I think 67 games, and they went, they won the first 14 games in the postseason, going 15-1 in the postseason. I would argue that's the best team of all time. even though they didn't win 73 games.
Right, which is why people are going to argue when the Warriors start 50-4, not the Warriors, if the Thunder start 50-4, is this arguably the best team in the history of the NBA?
And look, if they won 74 games and they won the title and they went 15-1 in the postseason, then yeah, it'd be pretty hard to argue the Thunder, this team this year, isn't the best, considered one of the best or the best teams in the NBA history. They'll certainly have a resume to show. I would still think not, but like their on paper resume would be the best of all time. But the team, the players, yeah, I couldn't even put them close to one of the best teams of all time.
It's a very interesting. Well, we have to see how it plays out. I mean, first of all, actually getting to 74 wins is a whole nother story than just saying if. And then actually winning an NBA championship back-to-back years, again, has to happen. All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side. And Greg Camarillo will join us coming up at 4:30, and we'll give away Aztec tickets in the 4 o'clock hour on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with college football news of the day. Former Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore officially was charged with stalking and home evasion. His bond is set at $25,000. In other college football news, this will be the final year of the LA Bowl as it joins the Bahamas Bowl as the latest bowls to be canceled this season. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings Box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites, $7 gets you the fancy stuff, and $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes, taxes extra.
It's Jon and Jim.
Let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds.
Your favorite pair.
Interesting job you guys have. Very smart and very modern.
They are Jon and Jim.
What do you need to know about me?
Previously on Jon and Jim.
Padres just sent out a tweet for the first time in like a month.
Oh, it must be nice.
And the tweet is thanking Dylan Cease for his time in the Padres uniform forever in the history books. It was a week and a half ago.
The Padres digital team needed some time to make this graphic.
So they have sent out a thank you. He was even introduced to the Toronto media days ago.
The Mets have already released thank yous to Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz.
And that just happened.
Padres,
where were you?
Now live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. Greg Camarillo swings by. Not literally. He'll join us on the phone at 4:30. We'll give away Aztec basketball tickets for Wednesday night against Aztecs against Air Force. That's Wednesday night. We'll give those away coming up this hour as well. But as we typically do to kick off the 4 o'clock hour, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Will Sherrone Moore ever coach again?
No, never. The image of him today in a padded cell with, a white jumpsuit on, handcuffs. Unfortunately, that will be the image of Sherrone Moore and also his mugshot. That will be the lasting image of Sherrone Moore, his professional career, John. And I know there's always second chances. I get it. I just think that those images will be extremely hard to overcome for any type of job you could ever get ever again in college football.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. I would agree. I mean, first of all, he's facing, I think, upwards of 6 to 7 years with the 1 felony and the 2 misdemeanors. That's not to say he will serve that. But he is facing over 6 years of prison time. So that's probably first and foremost the biggest concern for Moore and his representation. But like you said, there have been examples of second chances and a lot of them. This is hard to envision right now. Now, maybe things change over the course of time, but that's very hard to envision right now. Next question.
Who's going to win the NBA Cup?
I'll go with the Thunder. Easy pick. Shocker.
I like the Magic.
It's got, best matchup, obviously, Thunder Knicks, right?
I kind of wish it was Thunder Spurs in the final.
I know, but we can't get that.
Can't
John,
get it.
That's
No,
the East versus West.
Nobody wants the Magic in the final. So it has to be, Thunder Knicks.
I'll take Spurs Knicks.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. But will you take Spurs Magic?
Let me answer that for you. I won't even realize it's on.
That's what I'm saying.
And I probably won't even realize if it's on if it's Spurs or if it's Thunder and Knicks anyway.
I don't even know what the schedule is. I think 2 of the games are Saturday, and then maybe the title is Monday.
I know Saturday is the semis, and I don't know exactly when next week the finals are, but they're
no way
probably
they keep them in
Monday.
Vegas for like a week.
Yeah.
I'll be rooting for. I don't care. I think the Thunder are going to win it.
You don't care.
I do think the Thunder are going to win it. Next question.
I already forgot. Are World Cup tickets too expensive? I feel like this is rhetorical.
Have you seen the pricing?
Is the sky blue? Is water wet? What else is extremely obvious?
So they are.
It's insane.
They're insane, man. I mean, it starts in the mid hundreds.
Capitalism is just, hey, screw you, average man.
And then
screw you.
Some of the matches are get in is thousands.
The freaking USA versus Paraguay game is what? Get in prices like couple grand?
Like how? I mean, I get it. There's going to be excitement. It's in America. But man, that's a lot of money. 70, 80,000 tickets at thousands of dollars each. I mean, isn't that always amazing to you that there's 80,000 people that are able or willing to spend $2,000 on a ticket? That's a lot of people.
That is. I mean, I can't. Is there anything you would spend $2,000 on for a ticket?
No, I've
like
never
a
done
single
it.
Ticket.
I've never spent $1,000 on a ticket for anything in my life.
The most I ever spent on a ticket, probably, and it was for 4 tickets, by the way. So it was 4 tickets. It was me, my brother. Wait, no, was it 3? No, sorry, it was 3 tickets. 3 tickets. Me, my brother, and at the time his girlfriend. And I got this for him for his birthday. And it was Warriors-Lakers at then said Staples Arena. Or, I don't know, Crypto, whatever. It was a couple years ago. And the price of all 3 tickets combined was $850.
Good amount of money.
That's the most I've ever spent. But that was like 3 tickets. But still, that's a lot of money.
I'm with you. I've been to 3 Rose Bowls. I've never spent more than in my whole life. I don't think I've ever spent more than $250-ish on a ticket to a concert or a sporting event in my life.
Maybe something like the Olympics that is like in another country, to where it's like I would pay $2,000 if I get to go, watch Olympic basketball and get a free trip to like Italy or something. Well, you know what I mean? Is, I'm not going to pay $2,000 to go to Staples Center, but I'll pay $2,000 to go to Italy and go to the Olympics.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this then, for Jim. What's the most you would pay? Like, let's say it was U.S. basketball in the 2028 Olympics. Like, what would you pay to see that?
Not a lot.
Pay more than $850 to see that for 3 tickets to see Team US versus Team France or whomever.
No. If you asked me that question like last year or 2 years ago, would I go watch Team USA with Steph, LeBron, KD, Anthony Davis? Right, we saw them in Vegas, like that team against Team France in the gold medal game with Wemby in Paris.
Maybe.
I'd pay a good amount for that. But like the future, like the next upcoming Olympics with Team USA, without Steph, without LeBron, and without KD.
That's my NBA point from earlier. That's my point.
Well, that's just the US players. That's nothing to do with the NBA. The NBA is more international than it's ever been. If you're talking about Team USA, if you're talking about just USA-born players, then yeah, you have an absolutely good point. There's not many US-born players at the level that they need to be like the front and center of the NBA, because they're not overtaking Wemby, they're not overtaking Jokic or Shea or Luka or Giannis. There's no American-born player right now, other than Steph and LeBron and KD, on the way up that can overtake. What?
Anthony
No. Nope.
Well, he's on his way up.
But he's not overtaking Shea or Jokic or Giannis or Luka.
I know, and I, yeah, it goes back to the larger conversation. I agree with you. Yeah, I wouldn't be overly compelled to spend $1,000 to watch something in the Olympics or the World Cup. Although I'd like to attend the Olympics and the World Cups. I just feel like most people are priced out because of how expensive these tickets are. Next question.
Would Francisco Lindor make the Padres a playoff team?
Well, the thing is, they would still need to find pitching. So
yes, he wouldn't be pitching for them.
Yeah, and like it's not happening, but at the same time, would he make them a playoff team in some crazy world that the Mets traded Lindor to the Padres? Like, I mean, it would definitely help, but who's their rotation? Who's in the rotation?
Yeah, exactly. That's my thing. It's like, hey, look over here, we have Lindor, but they've already had Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado, and at times Juan Soto or Xander Bogaerts, Jackson Merrill. So no, I don't think alone Francisco Lindor would make them a playoff team. Absolutely not. I think he'd make them more excitable. I think he would make them more marketable. I think he would raise interest to a potentially even another level here locally. But I don't think alone Francisco Lindor makes them a playoff team. In fact, if they did acquire Lindor, it would put more of an emphasis on acquiring pitching. Because how could you have Lindor on this team and not be a playoff team?
And that would mean they have to add more money. Like, hey, you know what? We're even more committed than we are now. But again,
it's not. Yeah, it's not happening. It's fun to talk about, but it doesn't seem to be happening. All right, here's what I want to do. I want to give away Aztec tickets on the other side of a break. So we have a pair of tickets for San Diego State Air Force. This is the conference opener, final time in the Mountain West, conference opener for San Diego State. And we have a pair of tickets. We're not going to give them away right now. You need to listen. We'll tell you when to call to win those tickets to see the Aztecs at Viejas Arena. This is coming up Wednesday night, 7 p.m. back here in San Diego. Then at 4:30, Greg Camarillo, the former NFL wide receiver. He hosts Football Night in San Diego with Darnay Tripp, Rich Ornberger. He will join us at 4:30. We'll talk about everything on the line over the final 4 weeks of the NFL regular season with Greg Camarillo. We are here until 6. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 will give away some Aztec tickets coming up in about 10 minutes. San Diego State Air Force, that'll be Wednesday night. Viejas Arena will give those away coming up. In addition, Greg Camarillo is going to join us at 4:30. We can get more into this weekend. What are you looking at this weekend? Your Niners return to action in that showdown with the Titans that everyone's talking about. In addition to that, we have Rams-Lions. We also have, this was mentioned yesterday, maybe by Chris Hodge taking Vegas, that, wow, the Chiefs are a 6-point favorite over the Chargers. Yes, they are at home. We also have Packers and Broncos this weekend. That is an actual showdown. Anything you're circling this weekend in the NFL first and foremost?
There's a bunch of games actually that I'm circling. I'll just what?
You're doing a lot of circling.
I am. Obviously, Niners Titans, not really everyone's cup of tea because Titans suck with 2-11. But for me, Niners fan, circling that game. Bills Patriots, John.
Yeah, it's huge.
Definitely circling that one. Bengals Ravens, kind of an interesting one there. The Bengals win this game, we'll see what happens with Pittsburgh on Monday night against the Dolphins. But don't count out the Bengals just yet, even though kind of feels like it might be too much to ask for them.
Yeah.
Circling Chargers Chiefs just because.
Colts Seahawks.
I'm also circling Colts Seahawks. Gotta circle that one. Gotta see what Philip Rivers looks like at 44 years old, coming off the couch to play. Packers Broncos. Obviously, that's another one I'm circling. And then Lions Rams. I'm circling that one as well in LA. Lions kind of fighting for a playoff spot. Rams, number 1 seed in the NFC. So I'm definitely circling a bunch of games this weekend. What about you, John? What games are you circling?
I'm circling the biggest point spread in the NFL this weekend. That would be Colts at Seahawks. Because to your point, everyone likes the idea of someone literally getting off a couch to play. And that's what's going to play out with Philip Rivers. Is it possible that the Colts go to Seattle and led by Philip Rivers, who was signed on Tuesday? That's an amazing story if that were to somehow play out. That to me is the most interesting because I just love relatable. It's not relatable, but it's interesting when someone that's 44 hasn't played in the NFL in 5 years. There's the local interest as well, obviously, with that story. So I find that intriguing. And then Chargers Chiefs, does that surprise you that the Chiefs are a 6-point home favorite?
Yeah,
a lot of points.
Yeah, but people still believe in the Chiefs. They just are they're not dead until they're dead.
Yeah. I think they're dead.
Back to the Phillip real quick. Because I've been seeing this take go around a little bit that it's completely reckless of the Colts to potentially start Phillip on Sunday at 44 years old, 5 years out of the league. Semifinals for a Hall of Fame spot, coaching his kids' football team for the last however many years.
Mm-hmm.
And they're about to start him on 3 days practice, potentially on Sunday against maybe the best team in the league.
So the reckless part of that is you're setting him up to fail. That's not right.
Not only setting him up to fail, you're putting a guy with his AARP card out there.
I would say no. It's what do they say about riding a bike? What do they say? You don't forget how to do it. This is a guy that ball is life. See ball, throw ball.
Now, another take that I did see. If Phillip goes out there and throws for 350 and 4 touchdowns.
Okay.
I think Steve Young said this. What does that say about the league? That a guy who hasn't played in 5 years, 44 years old, coaching his son's high school football team, can be picked up off the street
and do that
and go out there and throw for 350 and 4 tutties.
It says the league is set up for offense. And also, that's not just anyone. I agree with the overall point. Maybe that looks weird. Philip Rivers isn't just some guy. Philip Rivers is top 10 in the NFL in passing history, right? In career yardage. Yes, 5 years is forever. It's one thing to have a good game. It's another thing to have a good season. I don't think anyone believes Philip Rivers at 44 could stay healthy and play 17 games and lead a team with his arm to the playoffs. Already, this is far-fetched, but what they're asking him to do is not what I just said. They're not asking him to play all year and to start every game. They're asking him to keep the wheels on the track Like, I don't think he's going to throw 51 times.
Probably not.
He's going to be 9 of 19. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? It's that the strategy isn't for him to throw 49 times on Sunday.
Let's look what Philip Rivers did. I want to see what Philip Rivers did in his last game ever played.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
For this.
Yeah. Was that a playoff game by chance?
So let's see. His last game was in 2020. In
front of no fans.
Right. Nobody.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It was a playoff game. Hold on. I gotta sneeze.
Do it. Oh, you turned your mic off. I like it. Oh, no, you didn't.
Excuse me. He went 27 for 46, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Against the Bills.
That was his last game played at 39 years old in 2020.
That was okay. That's January 9th, 2021.
Okay.
So, yeah, but that's about 5 years ago.
Right. I mean, if he puts up that exact line on Sunday against the Seahawks, again, either honestly, it might help his Hall of Fame resume.
Ah, it's interesting.
Like, hey, if Philip goes out and these 4 games remaining or 5 games remaining for the Colts, whatever it is.
I think it's 4, right? What are they, 8 and 5?
Yeah, it's 4.
4.
Yeah. In these final 4 games, if he goes out and he plays really well, and say he plays well in the postseason as well, but they lose just because, defense or whatever. Like, say he goes out there and he plays really good.
Mm-hmm. Does he come back?
No. But, like, if Philip was on the fringe of the Hall of Fame this past year, wouldn't you say that this should put him over the edge, even though it's like a weird thing of like, man, he came back 44 years old. He went out and balled out for the Colts.
Maybe it's kind of like you're putting yourself back in the national spotlight. So you're just back in the eyes of football fans and voters alike. Maybe that would be interesting. What about the opposite, Jim? What if he leaves a bitter taste, a bad taste, and doesn't look the part and doesn't look like Philip Rivers? Does he get the pass? Because if he gets the benefit for playing well, does he not get the negative or the detriment for playing poorly?
I think it could only help, not hurt.
Okay. What if he goes out in Seattle? What's the worst case? Seriously, he goes out in Seattle. He's 9 of 19 for 37 yards and leaves in the second quarter due to injury. You know what I mean? Like something bad, just bad.
Right. And that's bad.
They lose 31-0. He leaves due to injury. He throws for 39 yards and he completes 41% of his passes.
That's probably the worst line you could ever have.
But I mean, is it impossible to envision that he wouldn't play well 5 years on the couch?
Well, it would say 2 things. One, you can't be picked up after not playing 5 years in the NFL and just like expect to go out there and perform.
Okay.
And 2, like it'd probably tell Philip, yeah, I should have stayed retired.
would he be? Let's say he didn't get injured. Hear me out on this. Let's say he goes out there Sunday and looks terrible. Will he start the next week?
They have no other choice.
Well, they do have other choices.
Who?
I forget the name. I know the dude. I forget who it is. They had his backup quarterback before Philip Rivers just signed.
Well, one of the reasons why they signed Philip because Riley Leonard, who it is has a knee issue.
Yeah, but there was one other quarterback I thought that was
Anthony Richardson or whatever.
Richardson.
But he can't see.
I know.
They're not going to put him out there.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying out of just necessity, even if he went out there and goes 9 of 30 and they lose 31-0, he'll start the next week too.
My guess is he's the starter for the rest of the season.
Yeah, probably. How else could you sign him? All right, let's talk to Greg Camarillo about it. I want to get Greg's perspective and opinion on Philip Rivers. On the other side, I also want to give away Aztec tickets right now. Caller 7, you're going. Wednesday night, Viejas Arena. Wednesday night, Viejas Arena. Caller 7, you've got 2 free tickets. 877-767-4760. Call right now. 877-767-4760. We have 2 free tickets to see the Aztecs at Viejas Arena conference opener against Air Force. Greg Camarillo joins us next. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer again, and there is no better time than now to get down to your local Toyota dealer. They do have new vehicles arriving daily. We're talking about their most popular cars and trucks and SUVs. So whatever kind of vehicle you're looking for, you can hurry into your Toyota dealer today, or make sure to head to Toyota.com. If you're looking for a great deal on a new Toyota, there you can check out all the latest offers and search inventory. Finding the Toyota that's just right for you starts at Toyota.com. Toyota's Beyond Zero lineup of electrified vehicles helps to create a greener planet. Toyota's Beyond Zero lineup supports a greener planet with a wide range of electrified vehicles, including hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and fully electric vehicles. Or take each day further than you thought possible in a new Camry with its stylish looks that'll make an impression wherever you go. See your Toyota dealer today and discover what makes Camry legendary. There's no better time than now to get down to your local Toyota dealer. Get your local Toyota dealer today or Toyota.com. That's Toyota.com. Your Toyota dealers. We make it easy.
It is brought to you by Taco Bell. College football news of the day keeps getting worse for former Michigan head coach Sharon Moore. He's officially charged with stalking and home evasion today. His bond was set at $25,000. Another college football news that this will be the final year for the LA Bowl as it joins the Bahamas Bowl as the latest bowls to be officially canceled this bowl season. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings Box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites, $7 gets you the fancy stuff, and $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participations may vary. Drinks excludes freezes, taxes extra.
Always great to connect with Greg Camarillo, who played receiver in the NFL, who hosts Football Night in San Diego on NBC7 with our buddies Darnay Tripp and Rich Ornberger, and he's back with us right now on Jon and Jim. Greg, we are fascinated with the return of Phillip Rivers, and it'll be this weekend in Seattle for the Colts. You played in this league. The idea of not playing for 5 years, getting signed, and then starting a quarterback 5 days later. What do you expect this to look like this weekend?
Yeah, I am both. You and I are both fascinated about this. Haven't been more excited to watch snaps of football in quite some time, and it's because it's an amazing experiment that we've never seen, and it's with a guy who's loved in San Diego. I spent 2 years with Phillips, so all I can say is that. Well, I got a lot to say actually, but we'll go piece by piece. An amazing person, an amazing teammate, an amazing quarterback. An amazing opportunity for him, but he's 44 years old. He's got me beat by a year. I'm 43, and if I even think about getting hit right now, I'll get hurt. And so to know that he's about to go out there and having not played football for 5 years, your body adjusts. You know, the whole point of the training for football, well, one is to get bigger, faster, stronger, but it's to prepare your body for the brutal sport that is football. And the only way to get prepared for it is to play it, is to hit people, is to get hit. And now quarterbacks don't do that much hitting ever. But, that day in of practicing, the day in of being in the weight room, of grinding and getting your body used to that is what prepares you to get hit. And having not been hit for 5 years, I am worried about what that first hit will look like. But the man has 10 kids, so he might be taking some beatings at home as well. But I am fascinated. I am excited. I am nervous. In another perspective, I played with another grandpa. So Phillip Rivers is an actual grandpa. I played with Brett Favre, who was an actual grandpa when I played with him. Now, the difference was he hadn't taken years off. He had continued. There's the football instincts are something that you can't just get a rookie to learn. You can't get a young quarterback to learn, and backup quarterbacks don't necessarily have them. When I played with Brett Favre, even though he wasn't mobile at that point, he still had a strong arm, but he always had the immediate correct answer to anything that was thrown at him. You throw out a blitz that we've never seen on tape, he had an answer instantly. You try to show a blitz that we've seen on tape, he had an answer instantly. And I think that's what the Colts are looking for. They want a guy who knows the system. Phillip has played so much football that anything the defense throws at him, he's going to be able to recognize. Now, is he going to be able to run away from it? No, but he'll be able to recognize it. And that's the Colts are just looking for that little piece, and they think they have everything else to keep their season alive.
So we were talking about this briefly a little bit ago here, Greg. What would it say about the league? And I feel like the quarterback position, as you mentioned, this is probably the only position that you could attempt to do this with. I don't feel like any other position on the field you could attempt to return after a 5-year hiatus at 44 years old. Quarterback is the only position.
Maybe kicker or punter, but any real position.
Right. But what would it say about the league if Phillip goes out there and just balls out? What if he goes 350 for 3 tutties on Sunday? What would it say about the league if a guy who's been out of it for 5 years, I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. So, I mean, you could say that, but what would it say if he goes out there and he plays really well?
Yeah, well, if he's going to make the Hall of Fame, it'll take him another 5 years now that he's back on the roster. He's just delaying that one. It would say, from my perspective, that it is so hard to play quarterback that for him to come in and play just shows how incredibly talented he is and how hard it is to find another one like that. I don't think that it would be a knock on young quarterbacks at all or mobile quarterbacks at all. It's just being a quarterback, a high level potential Hall of Fame quarterback, is incredibly hard. You have to know everything, what every single person on your side of the ball is doing. You have to know and memorize what every lineup and position the defense is doing. You have to master the playbook. And then on top of all that, which is incredibly hard to do, you have to then go execute it. You have to throw a beautiful pass. You have to make last second adjustments. You have to actually avoid a blitz that's coming at you. And so to me, it's just the position of quarterback is that hard to do that when you find someone that can do it at an elite level, even if you're old, it's that rare and that special. And Phillip Rivers was that rare and that special in his 30s, in his 20s. So it'll be fun to see if he can still do it in his 40s.
Let's continue down this Rivers conversation. Jim brought this up. I'm curious to get your perspective on it. If he plays well in this return, is this enhancing his Hall of Fame resume? And then the other side of that coin, if he plays poorly, is this hurting his candidacy?
Yeah, I think the answer to both of those is yes. If he plays well, that's a no-brainer to me. To take 5 years off of football and still come back and master the sport, absolutely. If he plays poorly, yeah, because that's the last thing that you remember from somebody is, the recency bias. When you think of Phillip Rivers, when voters think of Phillip Rivers, they're going to think of 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, who looks like he's put on a few since he last took the field. And so that's the image we're going to see when people are making that judgment call and making that argument. So I do think this impacts his future. And the hard part about that is a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of stars are judged on championships, and he doesn't have one. And I think that's what was so attractive about this spot. So guys, there's two things when I look back at my career, and there's two major things that stick out. And I think this is why Phillip is going back is one, every time the draft comes around, I was undrafted. I think to myself, oh man, I wish I could get drafted. And what would 22-year-old Greg feel like if he was getting drafted? And the other one is, I wish I could win a Super Bowl. Every time they go through the playoffs and a guy wins a ring and there's confetti coming down from the sky, I was like, oh man, I wish that could be me. Phillip got that call for it to go be him. And you got to take it. And let's see what happens. I hope a cool story like Eric Weddle's championship story comes out of this, but it is going to be an adventure for sure.
Yeah, it will be, and it will be definitely a must-watch game. Moving over to another game this weekend that we just recently talked about, Chargers-Chiefs. Chargers coming off a pretty big win at home against the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yet they're still a 6-point underdog against the 6-7 Chiefs on the road.
Yeah.
What do you make of this game?
Oh man. So last week I was on this call on a Friday and told you guys that there's two levels to good teams. There's Chargers good teams that can make the playoff, and then there's really good teams like the Eagles who can make a championship run. And I am regretting saying all of that because the Chargers proved me wrong. And I every step of the way, because in San Diego we are used to the Chargers chargering, you always find an excuse to change the lens, or at least I always find an excuse to change the lens as to what is going to stop the Chargers this year. And so it started early. They got two left tackles, a left tackle out and a right tackle out. Okay, that's it for the Chargers. They're not going to be able to survive. They're surviving. Their running back has a fireworks mishap, and if he's out, that's going to be the problem for the Chargers. Running back tears his Achilles. That's going to be the problem for the Chargers. Khalil Mack hurts his elbow. That's going to be the problem for the Chargers. And every step of the way, I was like, okay, that's it for the Chargers. And they proved me wrong every single step of the way. Justin Herbert gets hurt, doesn't matter, has surgery, goes back out there, wins the game. Doesn't have a true number one receiver, doesn't matter. Justin Herbert looks amazing. And so this, to me, is the example where the Chiefs have given us everything to prove that they are not a playoff team. And the Chargers have given us everything to prove they are a playoff team. So this is the week where I'm finally going to agree with all the signs and say that the Chargers are hot. The Chargers are rolling, and the Chiefs look bad. Dropped passes. There's no chemistry on offense. So, let's give the credit where it's due with the Chargers and give the lack of credit to where it is with the Chiefs. And it doesn't feel right that the Chargers are the underdog in this matchup.
How do you feel about Greg Camarillo? Final one for me. New England and Buffalo. Now, Buffalo is a slight road favorite here against the 11-2 Patriots. What does your intuition tell you about this matchup?
Oh, man. So we watched Josh Allen last week look like the Josh Allen that we've seen. He throws the ball amazing, and then he just takes off and is the moose that we know Josh Allen, running through the snow for touchdowns. And the Patriots, it feels like the same, like we just talked about with the Chiefs and the Chargers. The Patriots have given us nothing but outstanding football on all sides of the ball. Drake May is playing outstanding football. No, guys, I'm not ready to put him in the top 3 or the top 5. But Buffalo has been incredibly inconsistent. One week they look like a championship team. The next week they look like a team that's going to just lose in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah. And the Patriots have been the most consistent. And you got to believe that Mike Vrabel, after a bye week, is looking at Josh Allen, figuring out how we can stop him. Mike Vrabel is probably the coach of the year with what he's done in New England. I want to say we're going to see Josh Allen dominate again, but the Patriots have just been too solid, and it'll be a great matchup. But I'm rolling with what we've seen all year, and that's that the Patriots are playing better football, more consistent football.
Man, what a year it has been for New England. I mean, it is just incredible. And again, now without the Chiefs potentially in the postseason, can Josh Allen and Buffalo take advantage of that? But maybe not come this January. Greg, always appreciate your perspective and time, and we look forward to doing it again next week, all right?
All right, appreciate you, fellas.
All right, we will get back at 5 p.m. to what Steve Phillips, the former Mets general manager, had to say about Francisco Lindor and the Padres. We are here until 6 p.m. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. I already know the answer to this, but I'll ask you anyway.
What?
Did you read Kevin's article on Craig Stammen? There's no chance in hell you did.
Did I read that? No, I did not.
I didn't either. Do you know how long it is?
I don't know. How long is it?
Very. Like like when I say very, I'm not just saying very. Like I'm putting it into a word counter right now. It's that long.
What was hold on.
It is that long. It is incredible.
I did see it. And let me just read. So
it's incredible. Let's see. I'm typing it into a word counter.
A small town in Ohio.
5,500 words.
Oh my God. I love it. A small town in Ohio gives a glimpse into why Craig Stammen was not interested in being the Padres manager at first, and also why he was so well suited for the job in the first place. So this is just like basically a puff piece on getting to know Craig Stammen.
Yeah, the most interesting part of my skimming through it is this. During a phone conversation early in the final weekend of October, Preller asked Stammen to rank the candidates the team had interviewed that week. After he did so, Preller said the number one candidate was Craig Stammen. He said this. I was like, what? I thought he was joking.
Oh my God.
He was like, no, I'm serious. So but that's my point, and that's our point.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Like someone comes in here, Jim, me and you are doing a show, right? We're doing this for all these years.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's like, hey, Jim, what do you think of our midday show should be? Whatever. Oh, you know what? I think you should be our accountant here. Oh, I hadn't thought of it. You're going to make a great, it's just like so out of thin air. He wasn't even living. Consider his relationship with the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a part-time, right? He was living in Ohio and working for the Padres at the same time. This was completely out of thin air. And I respect AJ Preller for believing that Craig Stammen was the right choice. But I also go back. Part of me is like, but is it the right thing for Craig Stammen? Is this what Craig Stammen wanted? At the end of the day, he's got to want it.
If you had a bet right now, Craig Stammen being closer to Jace Tingler or Mike Schilt?
I'd say Schilt.
Really?
I mean, neither are amazing tenures in terms of length.
Just, I would just say not the actual managers, but the quote unquote success and or failures of those managers.
Man, it's such a good question. I mean, I see what you're saying. He doesn't have experience. So that's a challenge. I mean, are you thinking it's Tingler? Because Mike Schilt was a tenured, he was a baseball lifer on that side. And that's not really who Craig Stammen was. He was a baseball player.
I would, if I had to bet right now, again, could be a great manager. A lot of it's dependent on the roster he's given.
Of course.
I would bet on him not succeeding to the level that all Padres fans are looking for, which is at the end of the day a World Series, or even like multiple postseason appearances, multiple 90-win seasons. Managing this team for the next 5+ years. Like I just don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't. Again. I look at this team and the staff that's been assembled. It's a bunch of who's, and that doesn't mean that they cannot succeed. I'm not saying that. I'm just, on first glance, it's just,
Yeah, my concern isn't, part of it is, yes, you have a first-time manager and you need to win right now. Manny's only getting older. So, you can't waste any time with the first-year manager. There's no on-ramp. So that's part of my concern. But the rest of my concern is, do you want to do it? You don't need it. You played 13 years in the major leagues. You earned a lot. You have a family. So at the end of a season, are you going to look up and be like, hon, I'm glad I had the experience, but are we really going to do this again? Are we going to go through this whole process where you are either traveling or working for 8 consecutive months? And he has a like a lot of people do. I mean, he's got a number of kids, and just the time constraints of it, I think, go beyond even playing, truthfully, because you're first in, you're last out. You're taking calls and meetings when players aren't in off seasons and spring trainings.
And
seems like a lot.
He's a former big leaguer, so he knows the drill, right? This is not new to him. We're like, whoa, this is three city 10-day trip. Like, this is wild. He knows the drill. But like, as you said, he might get into it and be like, oh yeah, no, this ain't for me.
I just go back to the last 2 years. He retired and he moved home.
I just, at the end of the day, I don't have, now this is because I don't have anything to base it off of. It's a completely new hire. I mean, a completely new manager with zero experience. So I have nothing to base or nothing to look at as far as Craig Stammen's history as a manager or coach in the big leagues to base his opinion off of, other than the fact that I just don't think that at the end of the day, it's going to work like how everyone thinks it or wants it to work.
Yeah. And again, I don't know how much I'll put on Craig Stammen if it doesn't work. Like, it depends on what it looks like, I guess. To your point, I think the roster is way more important than who's managing.
Way more important.
But I mean, I think the question I thought you were going to ask me is, does he last more than 2 seasons?
That's obviously always the bingo, or always on the bingo card.
And I have
right?
concerns. I have concerns for a number of reasons, like Preller's future, Lord, like the ownership exploring a sale. And again, I always go back to something Preller said during the press conference too, which was, we really liked him because he knows the guys in the clubhouse. Okay, great. And what happens in 3 years when he doesn't know the guys in the clubhouse is the team keeps changing. So
I hope Craig Stammen turns out to be the best manager in Padres history. I said the same thing for Jace Tingler. I said the same thing for Andy Green. And those were, I mean, Andy Green, again, he was given a crap hand. There's nothing he could have done with that roster.
Yeah, I agree.
Jace Tingler, you knew that thing was going to fail from day one. Did you not?
No, not really, because the 2020 year, I thought it would fail day one, and then they played well.
They did.
But 2021, they were the best team in like baseball history for 2 months.
I don't know. I never envisioned Jace Tingler hoisting the
nobody did in real
World
time.
Series trophy.
Right.
Do you envision Craig Stammen hoisting the World Series trophy for the Padres?
Well, even if the answer is no, it's not because of Craig Stammen. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%.
It's not because of Craig Stammen. It's because I just think they're in a tough spot, as we've talked about, all off season long. But I mean, yeah, the point is valid. I mean, he hasn't managed, so let's see if he's capable of doing it.
And Craig Stammen doesn't move the needle one bit, like at all. He is like dormant, right? And because of that, I think he's going to have to, succeed pretty quickly.
I would agree with that.
Like, the team is going to have to succeed probably right away. You're coming off of a back-to-back 90-plus win seasons. Mike Schilt, I didn't like him as like a person outside of being a manager. Like, I didn't like hearing him. But as a manager, he was a good manager, and we always said that. So, like, you got some things to, like, live up to. And because he is the opposite of a needle mover, like, I feel like they're going to have to succeed right away, because if they don't and they start out the gate slow, there's going to be a lot of questions about Craig Stammen.
Well, guess what? They're not scoring on opening day because they're facing Skubal unless he's traded. So they're sure. So I don't know if Craig Stammen helps you
the
against
big leagues.
Yeah. Does Craig Stammen help there? That's the thing with managing, and that's the thing with building a team. Like, are the Padres, how are they going to fare against good teams? A conversation we had a lot of last year. We're going to get back to what Steve Phillips had to say about Francisco Lindor and the Padres. On the other side, the former Mets general manager on MLB Network Radio earlier today. We've got one more hour for you until 6 p.m. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by Taco Bell. Breaking news in Major League Baseball, right-hander reliever Tyler Rogers is going to the Toronto Blue Jays on a 3-year, $37 million deal with a 4th-year vesting option. The Blue Jays are spending this offseason. In college football news of the day, now former Wolverines head coach Sharon Moore was charged today officially with stalking and home evasion. He has a bond set of $25,000. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you fan favorites. $7 gets you the fancy stuff. And $9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes. Taxes extra.
It's Jon and Jim.
Let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds.
Your favorite pair.
Interesting job you guys have.
Very smart and very modern.
They are Jon and Jim.
That's all you need to know about me.
Previously on Jon and Jim.
Padres just sent out a tweet for the first time in like a month.
Oh, it must be nice.
And the tweet is thanking Dylan Cease for his time in the Padres uniform forever in the history books. It was a week and a half ago.
The Padres digital team needed some time to make this graphic.
So they have sent out a thank you. He was even introduced to the Toronto media days ago.
The Mets have already released thank yous to Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz.
And that just happened.
Padres.
Where were you?
Now live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim for the week. Final hour of Jon and Jim for the week, unless you want to work Saturday, Jim. And I think I know the answer to that already. No.
Let me answer that for you. No.
What's your big sports viewing this weekend? We'll get back into Lindor, what Steve Phillips had to say, the former Mets general manager, about where Lindor could end up this offseason, but you got any big sports on tap this weekend?
Other than Niners and Titans on Sunday?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little outside the box here.
Okay.
And you're gonna hate it because you're not gonna know anything about it.
Let me hear. Oh, let me guess, like WWE 7 or something.
John Cena's final match tomorrow night against Gunther on Saturday night's main event.
Against Gunther.
Correct. That is something that I will make an appointment to watch tomorrow night.
How do you watch that?
It's on Peacock.
They're going to put that puppy on Peacock.
Correct.
So his final match is on Peacock. We're not getting like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, cage match, San Diego, whatever event we just had. Not getting that.
Nope.
Just getting Saturday night on Peacock in front of 98,000 people.
Yeah, but you don't know.
No, I don't.
You don't. That this year, he announced this back in 2024. That 2025 was going to be a retirement tour for John Cena. And never happened in wrestling. They never had a full year dedicated to a wrestler on a retirement tour. Like, you know, in sports, they'll be like Albert Pujols was like, this is my final year. And he got like Kobe. Gifts everywhere. And, you know, Kobe's like, this is my final year. And gifts everywhere. Well, in wrestling, like you're never retired in wrestling. Right. You can never so John Cena made it apparent that he was going to be the first to officially retire and never work an in-ring match ever again after this year. And he's had his last WrestleMania. He's had his last Survivor Series. He's had his last SummerSlam. And it's all led to this point. This was always going to happen, which tomorrow night is going to be his final match ever in Washington, D.C., on Peacock against a guy named Gunther.
You think he loses?
Definitely.
You think he loses, Brent?
Yeah, he's going to put him over.
I think he's going to lose too. And I think the way he's going to lose is he's going to tap. And I think that because John has no idea what putting over someone means.
No, I really don't.
So
it's like passing the torch, John. It's like passing the torch.
It's like making someone else look good on your behalf.
I got you. So like basically what I've done for the last 4 years.
Correct. You've put me over every show. You son of a. But did you know, Brent? I don't know if you knew this. I think you might have seen it. John Cena, the last time that he tapped out, like submission, like tap out from a submission hold, was in 2004 against Kurt Angle. He's only tapped out 3 times in his entire career, in his entire 23-year career. So from 04 to 2025, he's never tapped out. And like Gunther's big thing is like making people tap.
Anyway, are you asking me or Brent?
No, I'm just like telling you. Brent knows this.
Oh.
Yeah, they protect him.
I don't know how to put this.
Tell me in the best way you can how you don't care.
Look at it like this. And I know a lot of people do. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that'll be watching. But let me put it like this. If I had never met you, or if we didn't work together,
right?
Now Brent is into wrestling. It's not like he's talking about it with me every day. But if I had never met you, I would never even know of any of this. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's just kind of the truth. And by the way, if he's retiring, he's like, I'm never going to have another match again. How do we know that? Everyone's, Michael Jordan retired. Philip Rivers retired. Tom Brady retired.
John Cena claims that this will be it. And, he's very adamant on it that he'll never, after this, wrestle ever again. He'll show up on like television as like appearances, but he'll never wear his
how much
uniform.
would you pay? How much would you pay to go to this if it was in town tomorrow?
Well, considering he was just in town for Survivor Series for one of his.
Go. How much would you pay to go to this?
A couple $100.
Not more. If I said I got ringside for you for $650.
$650 ringside.
Ringside.
I would do it.
Are we on cam side?
He said he would do it in a second. He said, I've never spent more than $250 on any ticket in my life, but I'll do $650 for this.
But yeah, the thing why I would do it in a second is because there's no seat ringside for $650. So if you found a seat for $650 ringside for John Cena's final match, I would do it in a second.
Okay. I didn't know.
And no, Brent, I wouldn't care if it's cam side or whatever. If it's ringside, it doesn't matter where it's at.
I'm just saying cam side would be awesome.
Cam side would be amazing.
You could sit next to that's the side that the camera points to, John, when they film the television show. So if you're sitting cam side, that means that you will be on.
Oh, you're on
camera
TV.
all
Gotcha,
the time.
Gotcha.
My guess is
you could sit like front row for $7,000.
Are you looking right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can sit. You can't even get in for like less than like $4,000.
I know, because it's the ticket's a pretty highly priced ticket.
But I'll tell you what you can get in for is the next day in Columbia, South Carolina, the NXT live show. You can get in for $20.
There's a reason why.
Okay, so that's coming up this weekend. I'm looking forward to that.
What about you, John?
Oh, I got a lot to look forward to this weekend.
Like Army Navy is going to be a fun one.
Well, Heisman. The Heisman's going to be awarded. Now, I think this is a cakewalk coronation Mendoza IU quarterback. Would you guys agree with that? Because they beat Ohio State?
Yeah.
I just don't see how there's any other scenario. I mean, the kid at Vanderbilt's a nice story, an amazing story. Vanderbilt's been awesome. The San Diegan, Julian Sayin, great story. He's a San Diegan. He had an amazing year. He's got the highest completion percentage in college football history over Bo Nix a couple of years ago. And then there's the running back for Notre Dame who sent me candies as a Heisman voter. Did we talk about that? I think so.
You did. We did.
But I don't see how Mendoza doesn't win it because they beat Ohio State last week, right? Wasn't that basically the playoff for the Heisman? And he won the playoff for the Heisman?
Yeah, he made that throw on, I believe, third and long.
That was a big-time throw.
That kind of they iced the game and won them the game.
Yep.
And I think that throw in that moment is his Heisman moment.
Yeah, and the Penn State game.
The Penn State game, obviously, yes. But
this was a bigger stage, obviously.
At the very end, the lasting image you have before you cast your Heisman ballot is Mendoza on third and long, back shoulder fade, or just, kind of a little bit of a go route, but back shoulder, perfect throw to clinch the Big Ten championship for Indiana over Ohio State. First time in over 50 years.
First time they're Big Ten champs, yeah.
Outright, yeah.
It's insane.
And he has the numbers to back it up. No one has like these gaudy numbers this year that are like, dude, you got to look at these numbers here. It doesn't matter what the record is. Like all the quarterbacks that are up for the Heisman, they're all pretty similar, right?
Yeah, I mean, 3,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 6 picks. They're undefeated. It's hard to argue against that. This isn't like, I wouldn't call this some standout year in terms of the candidates. You know what I mean? Like
nothing gaudy.
Like Ashton Genty last year ran for 2,600 yards, and Travis Hunter played both ways.
Should have won the Heisman.
Those are more unique stories, in my opinion, than some good quarterbacks, very good quarterbacks, and a good running back. The running back ran for 1,200 and something yards. He's one of the top 4, finalists.
I think the one thing on display here is NIL and transfer portal.
Yeah, Mendoza was a cow last year.
If you would have told somebody, even 5 years ago that, Indiana is going to be the number 1 seed in the tournament and they're going to have a Heisman Trophy winner,
Insane.
You would have had that person committed thinking they were on drugs.
What about Vanderbilt as a finalist in this? I mean, it's changed. Like college football has been flipped on its head because of revenue sharing and so many other factors. So I'll be watching that. I'll be watching Army Navy. I'll be watching Thunder Spurs.
You won't be watching John Cena Gunther?
I will not watch that. I'll turn on Phillip Rivers absolutely on Sunday. I'm excited for that.
If I told you right now, I'm also excited for Cody Rhodes and Obafemi. Would you have any clue what that means?
Of course, Obafemi is one of the top 100.
Under 25.
yeah. Top 100 under 25.
Again,
exactly.
Here's the thing. Let me put a bow on wrestling for you.
Do it.
I can't even put a bow on it because there's nothing to say. No matter who wins or loses, they could just go win or lose the next time. It's like, they were fighting for the belt. Okay. And if you lose, you just go fight for the belt next time on like NXT Live or whatever in Greenville, South Carolina tomorrow night.
Correct.
It doesn't, I don't know. I respect it. I do. I know
it's entertaining.
And it's good. I was going to say it's good storylines and soap opera. It's like a male soap opera.
Yeah. It's also going to be a female soap opera too. Because
but I'm saying it's tailored to men. Like where soap operas, I think, are tailored to women. Would we agree? Yes. Yeah. I'll tell you. Watch the advertising. That's all you need to know. How do you know what a show is tailored for? Guess what? When you listen to this station, what are we selling? Are we selling things for men or are we selling things for women?
Touche.
That's the point. And watch WWE. What are they selling? They're selling to men. Watch soap operas. What are they selling? They're selling to women. To me, it's a kind of a male soap opera.
Correct. I mean, you're not wrong.
Thank you. All right. What did Steve Phillips have to say about Francisco Lindor's future? Does it involve the Padres? Next on Jon and Jim. All right, Jon and Jim with you here. San Diego Sports 760. Jim's back page coming up in 20 or 30 minutes. We started the show today, Jim, reacting to Steve Phillips, the former Mets GM, on MLB Network Radio with Eduardo Perez, talking about the possibility of Francisco Lindor being on the move. Now, this wasn't him saying like, Lindor to the Padres, trust me. He was basically being asked to make a prediction about the Padres this offseason. And this is what he and Eduardo Perez had to say.
So the Padres, so I'm going to take your top brotherware, and the Padres are going to trade for Lindor. Like, you know those Lindor candies that you can get? Yeah, Francisco Lindor is going to be a Padre.
No, Steve.
Right now, there are all kinds.
Steve, no. They need to unload, not get. No. That's not happening.
Well, no, it's going to be that they're going to have to give back Bogarts in the deal, and so the Mets clubhouse issue has come to a head, and Soto's winning out. And the reports out there are that the Padres, who we heard were working on blockbuster deals, have made offers to the Mets on Francisco Lindor, because the Mets realize that Soto and Lindor do not get along, and they're trying to accommodate the issues that they had in their clubhouse.
I don't need to get along. I understand. We're together for the next 10. I don't need to get along. I'm sorry. This is idiotic on every standpoint. Like, they don't get along, so we need to trade you guys. Dude, figure it out. You guys are men. You sign contracts. You sign lucrative contracts. Figure this crap out and go play the game. And then once the game is over, you can go one way, you can go the other way, and I'll see you tomorrow in the same venue, and then you kick butt together. I grew up in a Cincinnati Reds clubhouse that not everybody loved each other, but it sure the heck appeared that way once they continue to win. And then every team that wins, Steve, you hear it year in, year out. In October, you hear it and say, "Oh, we love each other." You know, the reason we're so good is because we love each other. You never hear a team say, "You know why we're so good? Because we don't like each other." We don't like each other, so we make sure that we play, we win. We haven't heard a team that has lost yet say we love each other. We don't hear that. Come on. Play the game. Be a professional.
I'm telling you, I don't disagree, but I don't think that the game's the same today as it was then in many regards. And so I think that they're not getting along.
I'll disagree with Eduardo Perez on this. I have seen and heard teams that lose say they love each other. So like
true.
We have seen that.
Yeah.
The Padres of a couple years ago, they lost the Dodgers. It was a pretty close team.
Yep.
All right. So I would disagree with him on that, but I will agree with him on the premise of Francisco Lindor being traded to the Padres, which, as we said all day, idiotic. From the Mets point of view, which is why it makes no sense.
From the Mets point of view, yeah, I completely agree. Now, there was one thing he said in there. I'm talking about Steve Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
He said the Padres have had, what, did he say they made multiple offers? Did he not say that?
Maybe.
Brian, if you can find that, just that specific 5 or 10 seconds, because I didn't catch that initially, and I caught it right now. The Padres have made multiple offers for Francisco Lindor. Oh, that's interesting. They've made multiple offers. That's not a listening party on players.
No, but look, I'll go back to when was it? When did Jose Ramirez sign his deal with the Guardians? Do you remember when he did that?
No, I could tell you in the last 4 or 5 years. Well, when they tried to trade for him?
Yeah, and that they had multiple offers on the table for Jose Ramirez, and they were extremely close to trading for him.
Let's say 3 years ago.
Yeah, so he signed. So Jose Ramirez signed his contract 2022.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Okay, so 2022. Right. So back then, AJ was doing the same thing, trying to go big, right?
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez was at like the finish line.
Yep.
But then he signed that contract with the Guardians or the Indians at the time. And then later that summer, he traded for Juan Soto. But we all, forget, like, Jose Ramirez was about to become a Padre.
Right. Yes, correct.
So I maybe like now we don't even talk about it because it's like, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Like, didn't happen.
Yep.
Like, why are we saying like, oh, it almost happened? Well, it didn't happen. So it didn't happen.
Are you saying the same thing here? But the difference here is we don't know Lindor's future.
We don't. But what I'm saying is like, even if this thing gets to a point where like they almost made a deal, like there's no almost.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, and I'm not selling anyone on a deal other than
either.
But Steve Phillips said this, not me and you. Here's Steve Phillips.
And the reports out there are that the Padres, who we heard were working on blockbuster deals, have made offers to the Mets.
Offers. Now, the reports, he said. What report has said the Padres have made offers?
I don't know.
I haven't seen that reporting.
I haven't either.
I haven't read that. I haven't read that from Dennis or Kevin or AJ Castle.
No, Kevin's too busy writing about Craig Stammen's North Star now. I mean, just like, I don't know. By the way, I sent you this part of the article. This is probably the best part of the Craig Stammen puff pastry piece. Of course, Craig Stammen is from North Star. He went on from here to become a relief pitcher whose authenticity made him more than a relief pitcher in the eyes of teammates. He was a guiding light.
That is heartfelt. Maybe trade Stammen for Lindor. Mets could use a guiding light.
Yeah. So anyway, ridiculous. I don't know. This whole thing is just absurd, and I just can't envision a world where the Mets are like, you know what, this makes sense.
You know what? Now that we've spent more time on it, I mean, again, I can't entertain it until we get way more reporting on it, and then I will entertain its validity because I need actual reporting on it. But the way it's been discussed so far is not reporting; it's just rumor mill, and it doesn't make any sense.
Too busy writing puff pieces about
Kevin's
Craig
done
Stammen.
good reporting. Kevin's done good reporting.
I mean, he also said there's about that sources say get ready for blockbuster moves.
It could still happen.
Okay, I know, and I'll believe it when I see it.
When you see it, I bet you better come on the air that day and say, Kevin, I owe you a heartfelt apology.
No, I'm not discrediting Kevin's reporting. I'm just saying, like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Listen, if it's in 2026, it's 2026.
Then it's in 2026.
Exactly. I don't expect it now in like the second half of December. I just don't. I think second half of December is typically slow with baseball. We'll see about 2026. All right, more on this on the other side. Plus, Jim's back page is ahead. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey guys, it is Jon and Jim again for our friends over at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place, and now open, as we've been telling you for months on end. The hotel and spa at Jamul, it is the next level of luxury. It has arrived, and you can treat yourself to a stunning new stay. They've got rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all the thrills of Jamul Casino Resort now all in one unforgettable destination.
Ultimate endless dining experience at Jamul 23, from their world-famous lobster brunch served every morning to the luxurious VIP endless dining experience each evening, indulgent chef-created specialties, fresh seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views.
And again, now open the spa at Jamul Casino. You can unwind in style, experience pure relaxation with indulgent treatments, serene spaces, and a retreat designed to refresh your body and mind, only at Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with Major League Baseball. Hot stove news. Right-hander reliever Tyler Rogers is going to the Toronto Blue Jays, a 3-year, $37 million deal. The 4th-year vesting option. Blue Jays are spending this offseason. In college football news of the day, now former Michigan head coach Sharon Moore was officially charged with stalking and home evasion today. His bond is $25,000. Taco Bell's Lux Cravings box gives you decadent options. $5 gets you the fan favorites. 7 gets you the fancy stuff, and 9 sends you on a journey of flavor exploration. Get yours at participating stores for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary. Drinks exclude freezes, taxes extra.
Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Jim's back page is coming up. And we spent a lot of the day talking about the Padres offseason, specifically all this smoke, all these rumors around Francisco Lindor. It just won't stop. Winter meetings are now over, right? So we're on the other side of the winter meetings. And everyone wants to know. I think it all stems back to this, Jim. It's less about Lindor and more about when are the Padres going to do something that people are interested in? Because nothing that they've done, nothing, has been mildly interesting. None of it. And that's what I think it stems back to. Like, even, yes, Kevin's reporting, hey, wait till you see this big deal. Yeah, no doubt. That gets people excited. But honestly, before the winter meetings, before that reporting, for me, it was like, when are they going to do something to address their needs for the upcoming season? And we're still waiting on that.
Now, to be fair,
okay,
there's a lot of teams that haven't done anything as well this offseason. I
agree with that.
So it's not just the Padres, right? You could point to a number of teams that have done less than the Padres that are completely irrelevant right now.
Okay.
Marlins. I mean, Pirates were in on Schwarber, but that never was going to happen. Right?
Yes.
A's, Rockies, Giants, D-backs, right?
You make a good point.
A lot of teams that have done virtually nothing this offseason. So it's not just the Padres. I'm sure a lot of teams, a lot of places that talk baseball are saying the same thing about their teams as we're saying about the Padres. Like, you've done nothing. What the Padres have over those other teams is they have a psychopathic general manager who is, generating these crazy rumors where they become a major talking point during the winter meetings and all of the offseason. So, I mean, at least we have that. We're not sitting here being like, are you guys ever going to generate any type of interest? Padres have generated interest. It's just been interest that is completely foolish to even like really realistically go down that path because like Francisco Lindor, it just not happening.
Let me ask you this, because refresh my brain. When's the last Padres offseason move that was like a sizable moment? Juan Soto's trade away?
Xander. Oh, yeah. Soto.
Yeah, Soto being traded. But again, in real time, that wasn't seen as like, oh my gosh, the greatest thing in the history of the franchise.
Right. I even kind of poo-pooed the trade and said, I can't believe they traded away a Hall of Fame player for.
Of course.
Right.
A lot of people did. I mean, there was skepticism, and to AJ's credit, some of it worked out. A lot of it worked out.
And I would say it worked out for both teams, more so the Yankees than the Padres. But
the Yankees playing the World Series,
right? And Juan Soto was a big part of the reason why the Yankees played in the World Series that year.
So you're saying though the last time that it was a bigger shattering move that like was beneficial for the Padres, you'd have to go back to the Bogarts, the reaction of the Xander Bogaerts signing.
Yep. Xander, and then the previous year would be then Musgrove, Darvish, Snell, and then 2020. We did the lockout. No, you had the not the lockout. The lockout was in 2021, right?
Yeah, it was on the other side. Yes, correct.
So when did they trade for Joe and everybody? They traded for Joe.
I thought that was the offseason after 2021.
No, it was the offseason after 2020, correct?
Oh, maybe heading into 2021. Did they Joe Musgrove in 2021?
Yeah, because Xander was heading into 2023.
I know. Yeah, they had Joe Musgrove in 2021. Yeah.
I mean, every year, 2019. So every year since 2018, 2017, 2018, I think it was. Because they signed Hosmer in what, 2017 or 2018?
That was 2018. 2018, definitely.
Okay, so every year, basically, since 2018, there's been a sizable like offseason move for the Padres. 2018, Hosmer. 2019, Manny. Can't count 2020 because, I mean, COVID. But did they make, what moves did they make in 2020?
I don't even know. There was that.
They hired Jace Tingler.
That was the big move.
They signed Tommy Pham.
Yeah, great. I mean,
2021, Musgrove, Snell, Darvish.
That was huge. Huge week.
22, they tried to trade for Jose Ramirez. Didn't happen. Almost happened. And then they traded for Juan Soto in season. 23, Xander. 24, trading away Juan Soto. And then trading for Dylan Cease and Arise. 25, a whole bunch of nothing, but they signed Pivetta.
Yeah.
So it's like the track record shows AJ will make a pretty sizable move.
Yeah, I agree with that, the track record. Although when we say sizable, it just worked out well. I mean, I give him credit for the Pivetta move, but when it happened, we weren't like, there it is.
Pivetta was one of the top pitchers in the market.
It was sneaky. It was a sneaky deal. I agree. He was coming off a year that was very average, wasn't he? I mean, mid-4s ERA. I wasn't fully convinced he was anything other than like a number 5 starter at the time.
Right.
And that's where give the front office a lot of credit. I mean, a ton of credit. And hopefully he can replicate in 2026 because that isn't,
I viewed Pivetta more than like a 3 than a 5 at the time. He just turned into a number 1.
Yeah. I'd love to listen to what we said that day, truthfully. I guess is my point.
I know what we said. We said that move, because it was right in the midst of like the whole Roki thing. We said this move will pay off more for the Padres this year
than Roki.
And
long term, Roki's the reason why the Dodgers won a World Series this year.
That too. But long term, Roki's the best. Roki's the bet.
Sure.
But in the here and now, the 1 year, Pivetta's better. And he was.
I agree. Yeah, no, Pivetta was awesome for the Padres. And I hope Preller's able to do some of those. That was my point from earlier in the show. It doesn't have to be sexy. It has to work. It doesn't have to be splashy. It has to be effective.
And we won't know if these moves will be, whatever he makes will be.
But some of them I know. I mean, none of these so far have any relevance. Ty Adcock, Dyson Acosta, Luis Campisano. I mean,
I know.
You know, it can have more than 0 hits next year. That's not a very high bar. You see, it's 0 hits in 2025. So, I mean, I'm not saying these players have absolutely no value, but I need the true first like reason to get excited move, and it will come. I just don't know when. And I don't think it's going to be Francisco Lindor. And to be honest with you, I don't think it needs to be Francisco Lindor. And that's my basic point for the day and the week. We can all like, look at shiny object, Francisco Lindor. Stop. That's not even a necessary prerequisite for the offseason. It's not. The necessary prerequisite is like addressing starting pitching and filling these holes. So I don't need Francisco Lindor. I mean, I'll take it, man. Can you imagine the listenership and the viewership? People get excited. I'd be excited.
It'd be crazy.
But again, I don't know how much closer you are to a winning World Series. You're closer. I'd rather have Lindor than Bogarts. But again, Lindor's not pitching.
I mean, from a Padres perspective, it depends though. Like if they were to give out, I mean, you can't just go swap
no, of
Bogarts
course
for
not.
Lindor.
Of course not.
So like you give up multiple pieces.
Yeah, I know. It's a good point.
Like, would we be excited about it?
Creating more holes.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be just from the fan perspective. I would be I don't think anyone, it'd be hard to poo-poo. You know what I mean?
It would be depending on, but it all depends on like what the moves.
What they gave up.
Yeah. But again, I think
it's not happening.
It's not happening. It's just, and look at us. We spent 4 hours talking about how it's not going to happen. So
that's how you do a radio show.
That's how you do a radio show, everybody. Just a little secret. That's how you spin a stupid rumor into a 4-hour show. You're welcome, everybody.
Called 11,000 views if you're looking at the tracker at the top of our stream
right, exactly.
account. We'll see. Watch the second we sign off the air. Lindor to the imagine if we did this week and this whole show and something like that happened. Well, we do a wrap-up show. If that
we might do a wrap-up show.
Then we would definitely. All right, we have Jim's back page still ahead. We're getting you ready for the weekend in sports as well. We're here until 6 p.m. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 for a final time this week. And then we're back again next week, right here on San Diego Sports 760. Good job with the Give-a-thon to our listeners.
Great job with the Give-a-thon.
Wonderful. $415,000 plus raised.
All from this show. Amazing.
That's what makes it even more remarkable Yeah, you
Crazy.
saw that email?
You're like, wow, Jon and Jim, you really pulled your weight this year. I know we pulled all the weight. You're
yeah,
welcome.
exactly. No, it's always meaningful, rewarding.
Yeah.
And it was good to be part of it again here in 2025. I can't believe 2026 is 2.5 weeks away, 3 weeks away.
They're adding a Jon and Jim wing to Radies next year.
Are they?
They should. They should add a Jon and Jim wing to iHeart.
To iHeart.
Like not iHeart San Diego, but just like
iHeart.
Everywhere iHeart. They need to have a Jon and Jim wing.
Can you believe it's almost 2026?
Time's almost up, John.
Time
almost
flies.
over.
Time flies.
Time does fly. Yeah, time does fly.
We are it's crazy. December's always like, I don't know. It goes quick. The years go quick. The older you get, the quicker the years go.
And then you realize, like, how did we get through that?
What,
like,
the whole year?
Like, no, just like the off season and the year.
True.
And the
Yeah.
year.
Well, it's like they say with kids, it's like the days are long, but the years are short. I do buy that, man. There's some long days.
Very long days.
Then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, oh, wow.
This has been, I will say, this has been for me personally, this has been a very long year. And you too. I mean, it
has been a long year.
It's been a long year for both of us.
Trying to think why.
I know why.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long year. I would agree with that. It's been a good year.
Been good.
Yeah. Good long year.
Good long year.
No doubt. All right, let's get to it.
All right, Ben and Jerry's. You know Ben and Jerry's, John, right?
Sure. Yeah. Ice cream.
What is it? What'd you say?
Ice cream.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's is kicking off 2026 with one of its biggest product launches in years.
Okay.
A brand new line of ice cream bars debuting in 5 flavors, rolling into freezer aisles starting in January. The launch lineup includes, these are all phenomenal.
Okay.
Cookie dough, chocolate fudge brownie, strawberry cheesecake, peanut butter pretzel, and caramel blondie.
Wow.
Oh. Each box contains 4 bars. With
for
a
$20.
It doesn't say the price on it. With a single cookie dough bar set to arrive in convenience stores later in spring.
Ben and Jerry's is usually expensive, so that's why I'm guessing it's going to be $20. Put it this way: you remember when, like a month or so ago, you did like the Pop-Tart ice cream sandwiches?
I can't find those anywhere.
They have them at Walmart right down the street. I seen them. They're right in the alleyway when you walk through. But they want like $8 for like a package of like 4 of them.
Well, if you think about it, so it's 4 things. So that's like, I mean, that's 8 Pop-Tarts you're getting. So it's like, because they do doubles, they do 2 Pop-Tarts per ice cream sandwich. So I kind of get it.
I think the general statement that Ben and Jerry's is expensive, I do think holds water.
I agree with that.
You know,
but it is also
good,
in my opinion, a very elite ice cream.
Right. Yeah, but I think that's true.
Like
too.
You're getting what you pay for. You're not getting some like bad product.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Bud Light, John, has officially teamed up with the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
To release its Blizzard Brew, a limited edition beer brewed using snow collected directly from Highmark Stadium.
Oh, wow.
The collaboration celebrates one of Buffalo's most famous fan traditions, the Bills Mafia shoveling out the stadium during massive winter storms. Earlier this season, Bud Light collected fresh stadium snowfall, transported it to their brewery, and incorporated it in the brewing process to create a can that's marked as, quote, made with snow from Highmark Stadium. The result is a special 16-ounce commemorative can designed in honor to the team's final season at the old stadium. The beer will be released in limited quantities around Buffalo only, timed to coincide with the Bills' last regular season home game before the franchise moves into its new stadium.
It's almost like it would just be too fitting if this is the year in general for the Bills.
It would be like something's going on here.
Right. Like, is this really going to happen? I kind of thought it would if the Chiefs took a step back, but I don't know if it's going to happen, truthfully.
I don't think the Bills are that good.
that's the issue.
I think other than Josh Allen, they're kind of mid.
I mean, even last week they kind of pulled that out against the Bengals at home. Yeah, I agree. There's just something's been off with them this year.
The way they win the Super Bowl is if Josh Allen goes Superman the entire postseason.
Which is definitely possible.
100%.
Definitely possible. Yep, agreed.
And finally, I'm excited about this story because I see it all over my TikTok page, and I particularly would never think I would like this, but for some reason, it looks really good.
Okay.
I'm talking about, have you ever seen the viral egg sandwich from 7-Eleven in Japan?
No, never.
7-Eleven Japan is viewed as a delicacy store.
Okay.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah, but that's because they're really nice. I read a thing about this a couple months ago.
They're real. Our 7-Elevens here in America compared to 7-Elevens in Japan, it's night and day. Their 7-Elevens are viewed as you got to go to 7-Eleven. They have everything there.
Interesting.
So one of this viral item at 7-Eleven is this egg sandwich, right?
Mm-hmm.
7-Eleven has now officially brought one of Japan's most viral convenience store foods to America. The beloved Japanese egg salad sandwich, after years of hype online from TikTok food reviews to travel vloggers calling it a must-try, U.S. stores are finally rolling out their own version of the iconic Tamago Sando.
Okay.
The American release stays true to what made the original famous: ultra soft milk bread with a rich, creamy egg salad made with Japanese-style mayo for the signature silky texture. While it's not the exact copy of the Japanese recipe, it delivers the same comforting, fluffy bite that made the sandwich a social media favorite. When I read that, I'm not as excited, actually.
Not as excited.
No, because I want the exact egg salad sandwich from Japan. And I know that the American version is not going to be as good.
No, of course it won't. I completely agree.
Especially in our 7-Elevens, our crap 7-Elevens.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I want to see these 7-Elevens now that you're referencing in Japan.
Look it up.
Okay, that's a good point.
I'll send you the YouTube story I watched not too long ago. But yeah, they're super clean compared to the American ones. All the food in it, when you think of American 7-Eleven, you think of candy and
pizza that's
processed
looks like
stuff.
Rubber, right?
It's all fresh, fresh foods and stuff in a gas station convenience store, pretty much.
Oh, and I have had people that I've known go to Japan say that the sushi at 7-Eleven is better than some high-end sushi restaurants in America.
I thought you were going to tell me you've had people go to Japan and tell you the sushi is really good.
No, you
think?
Did you look it up?
Yeah, I looked it up. It looks very nice. Do you know where 7-Eleven gets its name from, by the way, if we talked about this?
No, what is it?
I'm pretty sure, and someone correct me if I'm wrong or look it up. I could Google it. It was one of the original stores that was open that many hours, from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Interesting.
And now, a lot of them, I'm sure, are 24 hours. I don't know if all of them are.
Not all of them are, I don't think.
Don't you hate when you go to a convenience store or a supermarket and you're it's closed? I'm like, what do you mean it's closed? I need toothpaste or milk.
Well, you can go to a CVS.
I know. Are all CVS's 24 hours? I don't think they're all 24 hours. Did you Google my 7-Eleven theory? Why is 7-Eleven named 7-Eleven?
No, I Googled something that I forgot because there's a hidden message in the 7-Eleven logo.
Oh, cool. What's the message?
I don't know. I have to find it.
By the way, it's
eat egg salad sandwiches.
It's named for its original revolutionary operating hours, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., a significant extension from typical store hours in 1946. Which makes sense. It's a long day in 1946. Good job, Jim. And by good job, I mean good job. All right, back on Monday at 2 p.m. Everyone have a great weekend. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app or iTunes or TuneIn Radio or Spotify. Back Monday with another sports week here in San Diego. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye-bye.